Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Curse of Strahd Twice Bitten, the show where 5 DMs take on D&D's top gothic horror campaign, especially significant given that this is Halloween, the season of at least. So welcome again, everyone. I am Dragna Carta, your host and DM, and thank you to everyone for continuing to tune in during this exceptionally spooky season to what we hope is an exceptionally spooky show. Before we get started, just a few quick announcements from Serena. Do you want to take it away real quick?
I do indeed. So as you are all aware, we finally have our own subreddit, reddit.com/r/twicebittendnd for episode recaps and discussion threads. And there is a discussion thread for episode 11 already, so get your theory fingers cracking. We have a full asset library. You'll get the first notifications for new podcast episodes and YouTube VODs. We're also going to be having episode art galleries, so you guys can look back at all of the amazing art we've been featuring. We do welcome any and all interactions from theories and art to fan fiction and beyond. And a little bit later, after the break, we are going to be announcing our Twice Bitten Curse of Strahd Halloween giveaway, so stay tuned for that.
All right, thank you, Serena. I think that's all we got for the start of the show, so without any further ado, let's dive in and get started with Curse of Strahd Twice Bitten. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. With that, I think we're ready to get started with this session. So, last we left off on Curse of Strahd, Twice Bitten. In search of safety from Strahd von Zarevich and escape from the dreary land of Barovia, our 5 travelers made their way to the fortified town of Vallaki, alongside Ismark Kolyanovich and Irina Kolyana, a woman who they learned was pursued by the attentions of the vampire Strahd. In Vallaki, they met Erwin and Danica Mardikov, the kindly owners of the Blue Water Inn. But despite the peace and sanctuary they found there, they soon learned that not all was well in Vallaki. The burgomaster, they learned, a baron named Vargas Vallakovich, ruled the town with a firm hand, hosting weekly festivals to keep spirits up by any means necessary, which they learned would include the Festival of the Blazing Sun, now taking place in 2 days' time. The travelers learned that the Baron could be cruel toward those who disobeyed his laws or disparaged his festivals, and that his commands were enforced by his violent and fiendish henchman, Izek Strasny. With that information, our party, still cautious but seeking answers, took a day to explore and engage in some shopping, making a few purchases and inquiring for information throughout the town. After a visit to the local toy maker, however, Strahd's charm upon Kiva and Amity lifted, forcing them to confront the haze and confusion that had settled over their minds. Returning to the Blue Water Inn, Kiva shared her experiences in private with Lillison, who shared a story of her own in effort to reassure her. As the others met with Ismark below, now returned from a day of acquiring information, Kiva spoke with Irina, who shared with her own experiences with the intrusive and violating experience of Strahd's hypnosis. That night, conflicted and unsure of their path forward, the party went to sleep in their rooms, preparing themselves for the day to come. As they drifted into dreams, however, Amity experienced a terrible nightmare of bats, and carnage and blood, and awoke in the middle of the night, sweaty and shaking. And so, Amity, you awaken. The light outside your windows dark, the shroud and specter of night fallen over the dark sky of Vallaki beyond. There's a single flickering amber light from the candle on the corner table, now burnt down to little more than a nub. You can feel the sweat dripping down your forehead, collecting around the base of your horns, your hair feeling drenched and tattered. You can see the amber light flickering faintly, casting long shadows over the faces of Erthrindir and Kiva, sitting, their eyes faintly closed in what you've come to recognize as a kind of meditation as they trance upon their own beds beside you. You take a deep breath, steadying yourself, and as you do, you hear something tapping at your window.
I whisper to myself, I gotta get out of here. And I guess I go up to the window. Is it the gentle plip-plop of rain?
It is not. As you make your way forward, the window itself is somewhat murky due to the darkness of the space outside. But as you do, it becomes a more harsher tap, like a hard object against wood, as opposed to the pitter-patter of rain and drizzle that you've come to recognize in Barovia. As you peer through the window, what you see has metal bars at a cross across it, and slightly dirty glass in 4 panes. You can see that the shutters that you thought you would close the previous night have been opened. And as you glance onto the other side of the glass, you can see a tiny bat peering inside, a little creature with black fur and big black eyes that flicker with glitters of scarlet. As you watch it, taps its little claws on the window and bares its tiny fangs toward you, glaring up at you with a silent hiss.
Oh, geez. I guess I just suspect that this is a normal bat, but just in case, I guess I'm like, you're just a bat, right? It's not like a vampire coming to get us. I mean, I don't have speak with animals up, so if it's just a bat, it doesn't understand this at all.
The bat bares its fangs a little bit wider, its beady little eyes blinking. And as it does, it takes a few steps away, its little wings fluttering, and beats its way, vanishing out of the sight of the window.
All right, it was just a bat. There's nothing to be scared of. Amity returns to the bed. I have got to get out of here.
You turn away, mumbling to yourself, and what was your question?
I was just going to say, is it still like the witching hour, or is it a reasonable time for other people to wake up?
No, it is quite late. You don't imagine you've been asleep for very long. And as you turn away from the window, muttering to yourself, you don't hear the bat, but what you do hear is the sudden humming and crackling of energy. And then behind you, you hear the crashing and crunching and splintering of glass, shattering. You hear the sound of glass shards spattering across the floor, whirling around. You suddenly hear the rush of the chill wind outside. And as you do, you're seeing the lower right broken pane of the window. You suddenly see a flood of tiny black bodies, leathered and winged, flooding inside the chamber. I will need everyone to roll initiative.
Oh.
And those of us
Give
who
me
are
one
in a
moment to
different
pull the
room.
map up.
Does this include-
You are still asleep, but we will get there in due time.
Oh boy.
If you're still asleep, then... Oh, wait, does that mean... Okay. We didn't do anything since the last long rest, so...
All right. So, everyone please select your tokens and roll initiative.
Oh, man.
I don't know if this is a me problem, but I actually can't see a map at all, let alone a token.
It took a minute to load in for me.
Oh, there we are, yes.
Hey, Dragna, I have a question for you.
Go for it.
Why? Why are you doing this?
Because I hate you, that's why.
Well, good enough.
Check
Good to know where you're going.
Sure.
All right. Just need Erthrendir and Metreon to roll, please.
I'm trying. I'm having the usual issues.
All good. Metreon, you good?
Yes, doing it right now.
All right, excellent. With that, Lillison, from afar, you hear the distant shattering of glass. You are jolted awake from your sleep, but you are surprised this round.
Okay.
Metreon, you hear the same. Kiva, you are rudely awoken from your trance, your eyes snapping open. You are surprised this round, but you are now awake.
Okay.
All right, with that, you watch as the swarms of bats begin to flood into the room. Almost like a never-ending flood, a cascade of tiny black bodies of clouds filling the air and sky around you. All right, so they are going to make 2 attacks against Kiva. That's a 23 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
All right, you suffer 4 points of piercing damage as the bats bite and tear at your flesh. And then the swarm's going to attack. That's a 9 to hit.
That one misses.
All right, next up, 2 are going to attack Erthrendir as one of the swarms flies above him and dives down toward him. That's going to be a 6 to hit against Erthrendir and a 21.
Nope. The 21 will hit, yes.
All right, you suffer 5 points of piercing damage.
Ow, 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 ow.
All right, and with that, 2 are going to attack Amity. That is an 18 to hit and a 7.
The 18 hits.
All right, very good. You suffer 7 points of piercing damage. All right, and with that, that is the end of the bats' turns. You can hear movement coming from the room beside you. You think Irina and the others might have heard it. Amity, it's your turn. What are you doing?
All right. Amity adjusts this way slightly and then casts Thunder Wave, summoning the spirit of a gigantic ox hoof stomping down in the ground to try to thunder these 4 bats away.
All right, you said this was Thunderwave?
Yeah.
All right. What direction is this cube facing in? Do you mind placing it on the map?
Yeah, did I just place it here? Possibly. It's coming from me going south and east, and so it's trying to push these 4 bats.
Gotcha. So the bat between you and Erthrendir is actually above you. Apologies for that not being clear. But you can get 3 bats with this.
If it's a cube, then can one side point up and get the one above me?
No, unfortunately. Because that would require, an indentation in the cube. But you can get the 3 bats to your south.
That's acceptable.
All right. Let's get some saves going.
Right, they have to make Constitution saving throws.
Come on.
That is 3 failures.
Get it.
All right, they each take only 5 thunder damage and are pushed 10 feet away from me. In addition, any unsecured objects that happen to be in this room are pushed away.
Sorry, it looks like the attack rolled on Foundry rolled the damage first. Should I use that one?
Oh, did the attack? Oh, I guess it did. Okay, I didn't see that.
Yes,
Sure, use
it
that
did.
one.
Yes, it auto rolls. All right, excellent. Thank you. Very cool. With that, next up is... All right, so, Amity. Actually, no, Metreon and Lillison. As you startle awake, glancing around the room, you suddenly hear the sound of slamming coming from the corridor outside your door. You hear loud thuds and the splintering of wood. And as you do, glancing at the window, you can see several dark silhouettes staggering up the stairs.
Okay.
There's a moment later, and the door cracks, and you hear the sound of cracking and splintering. And you watch as one of them begins to stagger through the window.
No, I don't like that.
Alrighty then. So, as you're watching this, one moment, please. Alrighty. So, with that, Metreon, you are up.
So Metron would have actually already been up at this hour, tattooing himself. But when he hears the chaos coming from the direction of the other's room, and then hears the splintering of his own door, he's going to reach over, pull over his jacket, so he has some kind of armor, and reach around and get his crossbow out. Is whatever is trying to get into our room in our room, or are we still kind of secure?
Right now, the door to your room has not been damaged.
Okay. I'm going to use my action to. Can I move this this cupboard or dresser?
Yes, if you want to try to move it in front of your door to obstruct it.
Yes, I'm going to do that.
All right, go for it. Make an athletics check for me.
Sure. Yeah. Pray for me.
I am.
6.
All right, you struggle to move it, but don't successfully push it aside. It stays stubbornly in place.
Lil, and I'll call out to Lillison to hopefully try and help me next time. And that's my turn.
All right, very good. With that, Lillison, you're up.
Okay. Lillison jolts awake from where she had been lying on the other bed and goes, What's going on?
There's something coming up here. There's something's going on. Something's trying to get in.
Are we going out to meet them? Are we barricading ourselves?
I'm not going out to meet them.
All right. Get away from the door. I'll take a very quick look.
Yeah, he's still kind of like behind the dresser, so you could totally access it.
Okay. Gonna hop over here real fast. And then ease the door open just a little bit, trying to be stealthy and peek outside.
All right, make a stealth check for me.
That is a 13 stealth.
All right, 13. You slowly peer, cracking open the door. I'll let you open it on Foundry if you'd like to get a peek. From here, just faintly, you can just barely see those several dark figures. Completely in the darkness, though your dark vision does faintly illuminate them in gray and shades of black and white. They seem to be slowly shambling forward. You can see flesh sloughing off the bones. You can see that they appear to be slowly shambling forward, and you hear a low, guttural growl echoing from their approach.
I don't like the look of this. Metreon, what do we do?
We stay in here. Get in here. Just help me push this thing in front of it.
Okay. Lillison will close the door and I guess help tug the drawer in front of the door.
All right, make an athletics check for me.
Can I help? Give her the help action?
No, you would have had to do that on. All right, together with Lillison suddenly showing a burst of strength, the two of you haul the wardrobe from its place in the corner and slam it in front of the door, obstructing the path. As you do hear a sound of thunderous force and screams coming from the other guest room.
What?
Do you think that was the rest of us?
Metron's just like holding the cabinet against the door. I don't. Fuck. I don't know what to do.
Damn, what do the windows look like?
The windows themselves, they are, they've got pretty heavy, not bars, but reinforcements in a cross pattern. Otherwise, is there anything specific you're looking for? They've got pretty heavy shutters attached to them.
Do they have glass over them?
Yes, they are, crossbars and glass.
Okay. Well, I don't think any of them are getting in that way, I suppose. If I still have the action for it, I would like to point my finger towards where I know the other room is and cast message to Erthrindir.
All right, I will allow it. Or actually, no, it would have taken your action to move the wardrobe, I'm afraid.
Okay, so yeah, that will be my turn.
All right, Erthrindir, you're up.
Okay.
You have 2 swarms of bats attacking you, several other swarms filling the space in the room. You can, as the thunderous blast of Amity's thunder wave clears, you see the walls stripped bare, all the furnishings destroyed or twisted, and the glass in the windows before you just blown out and splintered onto the street. What would you like to do?
Okay. Does it look like there's anything else about to come in through our window?
Make a perception check for me.
Got you. Okay, that is a 15.
It doesn't seem to be that there's anything else coming in. It seems that the swarm has largely finished coming in through the window that Amity was by.
All right. He's going to look over to Kiva. He's going to look over to Kiva and just mouth, "All right, you got this. Fuck him up." And he's going to give her a dive, bardic inspiration. And then, turning to the swarm of bats in front of him, he raises his wand from it, fumbles it out of his pocket, and begins to sing. And as he does, it's the song of, at least Kiva can understand it, just saying something along the lines of, "We know this world is yours. We know the woods are dark and terrible and that you are the masters of it. But this place is ours, and you are not welcome here." And with that, he's going to cast Dissonant Whispers on the bat in front of him. That's going to be a wisdom save.
Alrighty. Is this the one to the south of him, above him, or to the bottom right?
South.
You got it. Alrighty, let's see how this goes. That is a natural 20, I'm afraid.
Oh, dang it. Okay, they only take half as much damage on a save, which is still 6 psychic.
In fact, you watch as, a number of other bats fall forth from the swarm, their little bodies smashing on the ground. It doesn't look like there are very many bats left in this swarm anymore.
Okay, he'll take it. In that case, he's just going to look around in panic, and that's his turn.
All right, Kiva, you're up.
Okay, so poor Kiva, who is woken up very rudely from her sleep and is now being attacked by bats, is going to rage.
All right, what happens when she rages?
So I have to roll something to figure that out, so give me one moment.
You have to roll something. Tell us more.
Mm-hmm. Do you now?
Okay, so as she rages, this sort of intangible spirit that looks sort of like a little pixie appears right in front of, let me point it out, the group of bats sort of south of Erthrindir, and sort of floats there. It's bright red. It looks furious as she does. And as she's going to rage, as usual, the gold veins sort of fill in with black, and she's going to take a swing at the swarm of bats directly in front of her.
All right, go for it. And I have placed a little pixie sprite on the map south of Erthrindir.
You're amazing.
I'll put it just above the bats. All right, and you're rolling to hit the bats?
Yes. I don't think that hits with a 9.
Unfortunately not. You swipe, carving forth with the scimitar. You see the little ethereal pixie bobbing, eyes wide with rage and concern across the room. But you unfortunately cleave through the swarm. It seems there's more air than bats in the spot that you chose.
Okay, and so at the end of the turn, the pixie is going to be so full of rage that it actually explodes, and I need each creature within 5 feet to make a dexterity saving throw for me.
Does that include us?
Presuming you're placing this away from, so that it wouldn't be next to Earthrendir, right?
Yes, it's not directly next to Earthrendir.
So, in that case, I would say, given that you can see it, I'm going to let you place it outside the window, on the other side of the swarm of bats. Okay. Actually, given that you want it to be close to Earthrendir, I would say that it would probably be here across from Amity, if that's okay to you. By the window that was actually blown out by the thunderstorm.
Yeah, that's perfect to me. And so the DC is...
All right, excellent. All right, because there is wall in the way, I think only this one swarm of bats is going to take it, but it is still in the blast radius. So let's see how it does. You said is it Constitution or Dexterity?
Use a Dexterity saving throw.
Beautiful. Unfortunately, that is an 18.
Damn, that would have been really cool. Okay, well, it explodes anyway. There we go.
All right, it explodes with this massive, flickering blue-green Fey energy, sending a cloud of sparkling heat rushing through the window. The bats flutter and squeak in pain and doing their best to escape it, but you can feel the energy gathering around you once more. Is that your turn?
That is my turn.
All right, excellent. With that, at the end of your turn, you hear, listen, you hear faint speaking in the other room, and then you hear the other door slam open. You hear the door to this room slam open, and you see Amity. You see Ismark's shadow in the doorway. What is going on? But you see him glance back into the corridor behind him, and you can't see what he's looking at. He mutters, "By the Morning Lord, are you all right in there?"
Not entirely.
What's going on out there?
I don't know. We've got trouble. There's some
Evidently.
things, undead, coming in from the stairs. You want me to hold them off?
Yeah, once I get out there, I can put up a barrier, but I need a minute to get out of these.
All right.
There's things out there too?
What the hell is this?
Ismark nods and, unsheathing his sword, shouts, "Help! Anyone! There are things breaking into the inn! Help!" And he is going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 make his way right to the door, and he will attack the zombie in front of him with his longsword, making 2 attacks with that. The first one actually does hit, dealing 8 points of slashing damage. And after that, his second attack will be a 19, dealing another 10 points of slashing damage.
Dude, Ismark's the goat.
He really is.
As you can't watch, however, but let me just roll something real quick. Actually, he's doing this with disadvantage because he is in the darkness right now. He still hits anyway, but that's fine. With that, you watch as you hear him slice forward. You hear the ringing of the sword through flesh, and then you hear a sudden shout of horror. "What the hell? These are not ordinary undead!" And that is going to be the end of Ismark's turn. Next up are the bats. So, the bats are going to attack again. This time, they're going to each of them attack one of you twice. So, first off, against Kiva, the first swarm will attack her. That is a 16 to hit.
That just hits.
All right, that will deal 2 points of piercing damage.
Is that reduced already?
No, I'm telling you everything pre-reduction.
Okay.
All right, the next one will attack. That's a 21 to hit.
That one also hit.
To keep him. All right, but this swarm of bats seems much reduced in numbers. It only deals 2 points of piercing damage.
All right.
All right, very good. With that, that'll be 2 attacks against Earthrendir. That is a 16 to hit,
Regrettably.
and a 22 to hit, which I presume hits, dealing a total
Yes.
of 9 points of piercing damage.
Okay, he's looking pretty bad.
All right. Next up, 2 against Amity. That's going to be a 17 to hit and an 11.
Both of those.
Erthrindir is going to Cutting Words, the 11, as he yells, "Hey, you mongrels! Don't you even try it, or that you will be in our stew tomorrow." And he's going to reduce that by... Really? 1 to a 10.
All good. So the first one does hit. That hits was the one with most of its members dead from the thunder wave. So Amity only takes 2 points of piercing damage. Also Erthrindir, I made a mistake. The swarm that attacked you and hit had half its hit points, so you could have the damage that you took as well.
Got you.
And the second hit?
The second hit was an 11.
Right, and
that
Cutting
hit you?
Words to 10. How much damage?
Oh, does the 10 hit your AC?
My AC is 10.
Beautiful. That's going to be 7 points of piercing damage.
Oh boy.
Alrighty then. So with that is the end of the swarms of bats. Irina's going to spend her turn doing Irina things. At this point, as you watch, you hear a sudden hiss, and mist begins to spill from the window to the south. You watch as it begins to expand into a massive cloud of fog that soon swallows up the entirety of the room, blinding the lot of you. This is entirely in the southern room. All right. With that, next up is Amity.
That's right, it is. Amity adopts a defensive posture, holding her hands over her head, and stumbles out. They're here because of her. Because of them. Just, get out of here. And disengaging, of course. 1, 2, 3. Oh right, her movement speed is currently not optimal, and so this is as far as she can go.
All right, you enter the room just in time to see a grotesque. You see the zombie that Ismark is currently fighting. You can see that it appears to be missing an arm, and that it seems to have no head. Blackish, reddish blood splurting from its neck. But as it lurches forward with claws, Ismark parries back, shouting back in defiance. And Amity, is that your turn?
Don't hurt me, she says. That's your turn. She can't do anything now. I guess Bardic Inspiration, bonus action. Oh, yeah. Let's give that to Ismark. He looks pretty sweet. You got this, Ismark.
Ismark glances back and gives you a nod, doing his best to offer a smile. As he does, he moves up to parry as the zombie in front of him swipes toward him. It has going to make a claw attack against him. He parries it easily, however, avoiding the attack. The zombie slashes toward him, and then, pausing, tilting its head as if listening to something, slowly takes a step back, and as you watch as 6 other of the other creatures step back. He takes a swipe toward the one that's retreating. That is a crit.
That's our
Slicing
boy.
through the torso entirely. You watch as a small pale head on the ground that was madly chattering its teeth abruptly pauses and lulls to the side. However, as he does, panting, nodding to himself, a sudden shadow swoops in from overhead and stands in the place where the zombie head once stood. Ismark blinks in the darkness, stepping back, but Amity, you recognize the shape immediately in the dim light. The pale, gaunt features, the widow's peak pulled back over his head, the dark black cape pulled over the red tunic and the scarlet gem at the neck. You immediately recognize Strahd von Zarevich standing atop the stairs beyond. He fixes his mark into you with his gaze, a small smile tugging at his lips. Good evening. Might I enjoin your premises? Ismark staggers back, looking back helplessly at Amity. For the moment, we're out of initiative. Amity, what are you doing? The rest of you watch as the bat suddenly still fluttering up away from you, clinging to the sides of the room, their glances all gazing toward the hallway.
I didn't realize that the bats were yours, she says, kneeling.
Ismark glances back, eyes wide. He holds his longsword up in front of the door. He pauses, glancing back toward Amity. Are your friends all right? What's going on in there? The rest of you hear, specifically Erthurdir and Kiva, you hear Strahd's voice. Lolison and Metron, you do as well. It's unmistakable.
Is the fog still there?
The fog, as you watch, slowly begins to dissipate, vanishing.
Eva has backed herself up into the corner of the room, holding her scimitar in front of her.
Yeah. Erthrendir just gives her a desperate look and whispers, What do we do?
Stay quiet and hide. And don't let him know that we're in here.
He already knows. He sent the bats in.
I know you're there, my dear. Please, let us not exercise this foolishness a moment longer. Come out. I wish to see my guests in my treasured Barovia.
Kiva looks absolutely panicked at Erthrendir.
Here, if we don't let him in, they mentioned that, right? That vampires can't come in without an invitation. We just gotta make sure nobody looks him in the eyes, and I'm gonna go after Amity. You do what you need to, and he's going to run out into the hallway.
I'm coming. Kiva will come, she's looking down at the floor. She's not looking up at all.
All right. What are Lillison and Metreon doing?
Metreon, hearing Strahd's voice booming through the inn, immediately seizes up, pressing his crossbow to his chest, and slams his back against the cupboard or wardrobe and pushes himself into it more, trying desperately to keep the door shut.
Is Lillison assisting?
Lillison will actually go over to the window and see what she can see from there.
All right. Make a perception check for me. And as you're doing that, Erthrendir, you see as Strahd glances over Ismark's shoulder and offers you a nod. Good evening. I trust you've come to enjoy your stay in Vallaki, though I must confess my dismay. Truly, Metreon cannot believe that the wardrobe he is holding will keep my servants from sharing their gifts.
Lord
Metreon,
Strahd,
hear his voice ringing out through the night.
my liege, what do you want?
Must a lord of the land have a reason for wishing to pay a visit to his honored guests? It is my business to know what those in my domain are doing, after all. And
yes. But generally visits involve a bit more tea and congenial chatter than breaking in of windows. But it is good to speak with you. So we'd be happy to speak with you if you'd let us know why you're here.
Indeed. For starters, Vallaki is such a charming little town. It's been so long since I've visited. I thought it might be worthwhile to see how it's changed. I've only had the chance to make intermittent trips as of late, so it's wonderful to see that this little inn has grown to accommodate such interesting guests. Beyond that, Of course, I wish to. And at this point, you hear... Lillison, what do you roll?
I rolled a 23 for perception.
Beautiful. So, you see the shifting of a shadow outside of your window, like a large winged form suddenly whooshing past the window up to the roof overhead. You can faintly hear the sound of soft clacking, what sounds like claws on the roof above you. And as you do, Amity and Erthrindir, you see a dark shape drop onto the staircase behind Strahd. Its strange features are difficult to make out in the night. It seems to be almost a person wearing a large cape of feathers, a strange protrusion on the front of their face. But as you look, Amity, you can just faintly see a long, dark beak, black feathers covering the head down over the shoulders, a cloak down over the shoulders, and a short sword held directly out towards Strahd from behind. And you hear a voice say, "I must insist that you depart. Devils have no home in this place of sanctuary." Strahd pauses and slowly turns, inspecting the figure behind him for a moment, and then shakes his head. Interruptions aside, that I shall deal with shortly. You hear a sharp intake of breath from behind him, and then you hear the flapping of wings and the clacking of claws from the top of the roof. And the newcomer speaks again. "I must warn you, my friends do not take so kindly to intruders. I must politely insist for the welfare of those that live here, and those that remain as guests, that you respect their guest right and depart in peace." Strahd rolls his eyes, and then it fixes his gaze on Amity. Interruptions aside, and he fixes his gaze on Erthrindir, who I presume is not meeting his gaze.
Oh, no, he is not. He is shaking like a leaf, but he is looking down.
I had hoped to avoid unwelcome intrusions, but I hope that one chooses a location with beds drenched in raven droppings. That is what one must learn to accommodate. At this, you hear the sound of a door suddenly opening, and you see light suddenly flooding into the chamber as you watch Erwin and Danica stepping out of the large bedroom to the top of the stairs on the opposite side, each one holding crossbows, slowly make their way out. Erwin shouts, "What is the meaning of this? Count von Savage, please explain. What do you mean by this?" Strahd quirks an eyebrow and turns toward them. "It seems that birds of a feather do flock together. But nonetheless, I have more at hand than the attentions of a few little birds." He turns back to Erthrindir and Amity. "Now, as discussed, I wish to visit upon my guests, and it is considered impolite to deny the presence of the lord of the land you remain in. So, if it would behoove you to do so, might I join you and share the evening in this..." He wrinkles his nose, and for a moment you see his nostrils become like bats. "Pitiable, but perhaps respectable establishment."
Erthrindir is just going to throw a desperate look at Amity and shake his head.
Amity looks at Erthrindir. I invite you to enter my room, but the hallway and the other rooms are not mine to give.
Amity, what are you doing?
Not ending up in the march.
Kiva looks completely and utterly betrayed.
Strahd smiles, and you watch as he vanishes in a cloud of mist. Ismark starts stumbling back. What in the hells? You hear a retort from the bird-headed creature outside. Look out! He could spring up from anywhere. Amity, you wait for a few long moments while you're doing this. What are Lillison and Metreon doing?
Metreon is whispering to Lillison. They said it was safe. They said it was fucking safe. It's not safe. What are we gonna do?
They know we're here. He specifically called out you and the wardrobe. What do
I know. He can't come in though, right? He's got to be invited.
I think he just was invited.
Oh, fuck me.
Not into your room. If this is a conversation Amity can hear.
No, this is
Okay, this is
very-
whispered. Okay, got it.
Panicked whispering. Do we go out? Join the others?
If I do, he's gonna kill me. He didn't get enough blood last time.
I think if we stay in here, we won't be any safer.
You could go out there, I'm not.
All right, I'll go out there. Help me move the dresser away again.
Metreon pauses, looking down at the floor with wide, beady eyes, sweating profusely, and very slowly, as slowly as he possibly can, starts to get up off the floor. And Lillison would be able to see, but his hands are quaking, trembling as he's moving towards the other end of the wardrobe. Are you sure you want to do this?
Metreon can see that Lillison is massaging the gem on her palm with the thumb of her other hand, and just like looking almost nauseous. She nods slowly and she says, I don't think I can stay here much longer.
None of us can. And with that, Metreon will start to pull the wardrobe away, provided Lillison is like helping him push it, because he's got
Lillison will
noodle
help.
arms.
All right, there is a slow scraping against the floor. Ismark glances back and sees Amity retreating toward the room. Amity, wait, what are you? And Amity, as you step into the room, as I presume you're now there, correct?
Yeah, and she's gonna say to Kiva, he's probably going to come in through the window, so you might want to leave.
What are you doing this for?
I don't think we could stop him.
You're putting yourself and all of us at risk, and I really don't know if you're thinking of that. And with that, she's going to leave the room.
Just stay in the hallway of the other rooms, then you don't have to invite him in if you don't want to.
Amity. Earthrendir, it looks like a mix between furious and like he's about to fall over at any moment, but he just gives her a nod.
Let's talk about this later. I'm
not talking. I'm saying I'm coming in with you. I'll make tea. Two minds are better than one.
Amity goes up to the window and looks out.
As you watch,
Thank
you
you.
can see, coming from the corner of your vision, a cloud of fog and mist spilling through the window to your left. And Earthrendir, are you re-entering the room?
He is. Although before he does, he's going to look at Kiva and grab her hand and say, "Hey, and my name's Earthrendir Ariel. If you want to, my family's from a place called Offstra out in the Far East. look for them if anything happens. If you make it out, please.
We'll squeeze his hand as he goes by and nod, and then she's going to leave the room and she's going to try to find Irina as soon as possible.
All right. Amity, out of the corner of your eye and Earthrendir, as you step forward, before you can move toward the table, you see a thick cloud of mist boiling in through the window. As you watch, it slowly forms, swirling in one of the chairs of the table, and you watch as, in the chair closest to the beds, slowly, lazily forming into the shape of a silhouette, finally coalescing to the form of Strahd von Zarevich, reclining in his chair, one leg over the other in a relaxed position, smiling at you, baring his fangs over his lower lip, and slowly extending a hand toward Amity.
Amity... Oh, sorry.
No, Amity, you're first.
Goes to shake the hand, though averts her eyes from his gaze.
Strahd chuckles as he accepts it, as you watch the bats chitter and squeal, taking their places up in the rafters, perched upon different parts of the room. Every single one of their dozens and dozens, if not hundreds, of beady little black-red eyes piercing through the darkness down toward you, a few thin wafts of mist still swirling around the base of the floor. Strahd accepts your hand, and as you move to shake it, chuckles and abruptly stands. Once more, you're reminded of how tall he is. For even your height, he still towers above you, a dark, gaunt silhouette that casts you into shadow, blocking the light of the candle entirely. He slowly looks down at you and slowly touches his finger to the point of your horn, chuckling softly. I must confess, despite your taste in venue, you and your friends were an intriguing taste when last we met. I wish to see if it was but a freak accident or if you are indeed as interesting as I believe. And you watch as you feel like his fingers slowly move down your neck, his claws poking against the flesh there. Just but a taste.
Lord Strahd, might it be easier for you if the blood is freely given? Perhaps if we take a cup and fill it ourselves, that way it's easier for everyone involved.
Strahd's gaze snaps toward you, and then he hears Amity about to speak. What is she going to say?
As you can see, I'm already... your servants have already taken some from me. She holds out her arm, blood dripping down it. Lap up what you want, but I think if you bite me again, I might not survive it.
Oh, I assure you, my dear. But then again, if your friend is willing to offer his own services, I must say that, well, I appreciate one's selflessness, the selflessness of heroes, one might say. I must confess that I enjoy partaking in a more intimate experience. He turns to face Earthrendir.
At that entire sentence, he goes just dead white. And if you do so, all right. Is that okay for the cup then? Or do you want more?
Provide your neck.
Earthrendir is going to do so, but as he does, he is going to murmur what to Amity sounds half like an incantation, half like a prayer, and cast Healing Word on himself.
God raises an eyebrow, but does not seem to react to it. You may cast Healing Word.
Okay. Healed for 6.
All right. With that, you watch as Strahd slowly leans forward, his fangs bared, extending toward Earthrendir's neck. his fangs slightly piercing into the pale flesh there. And then he stops, shaking his head and chuckling darkly. What a disappointment. He pulls back his head entirely, not releasing his grip on Erthrandir's neck, but keeping his claws there, piercing sharply, almost painfully into the flesh. He shakes his head again. I always expect more of outsiders to my lands, but perhaps you are just the dregs and the chaff. A shame. I thought you might be interesting, but evidently not. And his arm lashes forward toward your torso, aiming to strike.
Okay.
That's going to be a 20 to hit.
Yes.
You suffer 5 points of slashing damage plus 11 points of necrotic damage.
Still up.
How many hit points do you have?
3.
All right. You watch as Strahd's hand flashes out like lightning, slashing across Erthrandir's chest. You hear the elf stagger and cry out as a sudden gout of blood explodes from his chest, splashing across the floor. You see Erthrandir stagger, almost falling, but ultimately standing. Strahd looks down at
All right. If that's what you want, if you want interesting, if that is your game, then we will do our damn best to provide. He's hyperventilating.
All right. Is there anything else Erthrandir will do?
He's going to stand blearily up. If that's what you want from us, interest, then fine. Fine. But if we're to provide, we need to live. We have to. I nearly died from your last bite by a sheer feat of bad luck. If we're to be whatever you want us to be, then we need to make it out of here. Then we need to live it. And that means that for the moment, your attentions might kill us before your game, whatever it is finished. Does that make sense, Lord Strahd?
Strahd shakes his head and chuckles. My dear Erthrandir, whatever gave you the indication that I came here tonight intending to kill you?
Nothing.
You watch as his features blur and become ethereal and turn to wispy nothingness as his body dissolves into ethereal mist and boils out of the window and vanishes out of sight.
Amity, are you okay?
I don't know. Here. Amity leans over. Do you mind if I heal you?
Go ahead.
Amity embraces Erthrandir and sheds a few tears as she casts Cure Wounds.
As she does, you hear the scraping of wood against wood, and Lillison and Metreon finish heaving the wardrobe to the side. You can open your door if you'd like.
I wouldn't be.
See Ismark standing facing toward the south, his fist clenched so tight that it's gone white. You see Kiva. Was Kiva still on the corridor?
Yeah, Kiva's no, I think she went to go find Irina, so she sort of pushed past Ismark to make sure that Strahd wasn't going after her.
All right. So you're still in the corridor, though.
Yes.
All right. With that, as Amity casts Cure Wounds, you see the bats slowly taking flight from their place in the rafters and filtering out through the window, vanishing into the night through the broken glass. Kiva, and you can see the undead slowly turning and shambling down the stairs, vanishing into the night. You can see the strange raven-headed figure turning toward them, sheathing its short sword in a scabbard at its side, and sprinting wide, massive black wings that it flaps once and takes flight, vanishing over the banister to the east. And then the inn goes silent. And it's quiet.
So the conversation that just happened in the other room, would it have been audible to everybody?
You would have heard Strahd's conversation with Erthrendir, yes.
Okay. Lillison's going to glance back at Metreon, give him just like a slight nod, and then take a deep breath, and basically just gently but firmly push Ismark and Kiva aside as she goes down into that large room.
All right, as you do, you see Kiva, you see Danica and Erwin exchange looks. Danica calls out, "Kiva, is everyone all right over there?"
I think we're fine. But we could probably use some bandages or something.
She nods and exchanges a look with Erwin. They swiftly begin making their way down the stairs, down at the tap room, and vanish into the kitchen. You watch as Erwin splits off from Danica's path and begins making his way toward the front door. You hear the door to the tap room open and then click. Lillison, you hear the sound of flapping wings descending from the roof, stopping shortly below your window. All right, what are the rest of you doing?
Erthrendir, after Amity heals him, does not return the hug. He's going to kind of extricate himself from her grip and step out into the hall. Lillison, Metreon.
Metron is actually, when Lillison leaves, he slumps against the corner of the room and slides back onto the floor and is still keeping himself like in between the wall and the wardrobe.
Gotcha.
Hyperventilating.
Yeah. Lillison.
Lillison is going to be standing basically right outside the door and is going to prevent Erthrendir from stepping into the corridor.
What do you want?
What in the world was that shameful display?
Erthrendir.
How dare you?
Erthrendir.
Erthrendir just let himself be bitten so that the rest of us could be left alone.
Amity. Let her talk. And I suppose, let me guess. Or, no, I'm sorry, I want to hear this. What should I have done better, Lillison?
First of all, I don't believe that inviting him in was the best strategy. And second, look, fine. Next time. And now we know there will be a next time. Next time. Don't show your fear. Don't show your defiance. Let me talk to him. Let me do all the talking. Can I get you any warm water or bandages or anything?
Lillison, what you can do right now is letting me get somewhere where I don't have to fucking listen to you. I'm sorry. Did I fail at crisis management? Did I miss a few steps? Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm responding very poorly to all this. Unlike you, the trained negotiator, I'm sure it would have gone fine. But I'm sure. And when he tears your beating heart out of your chest, either for defiance or for playing along, then I will be sure to heal your wounds and mop your blood. And maybe I will refrain from telling you how fucking right I was.
Is Kiva hearing this? Because if so, she's going to now pull Lillison away and give Earthrendir a look like, all right, we're all a little fucking stressed right now. That's uncalled for. Lillison, let's take a walk.
We're not. It wouldn't have changed anything, you know that? He wants us. He wants something out of us. He's not gonna leave us alone.
We'll speak of this in the morning. Go.
Earthrendir is going to... Yeah. He's just going to head down the stairs. As he does, he's going to murmur a quick spell and cast Healing Word on Amity and Kiva with the last of his spell slots.
Alright. And as you do, Lillison, watching Earthrendir's glyphs shimmering in the air, you hear a faint sob from your left, and glancing faintly through the dim light into Ismark and Irina's room, you see Ismark sitting on Irina's bed, an arm around her shoulder, and you hear a faint sob.
Kiva, I'll be fine. Please, you should probably go attend to Irina. She's probably terrified.
Okay, look, if you need anything, and if he fucking says anything like that to you again, I'll beat the shit out of him. And she's gonna give her a little smirk, and then go to Irina.
All right. As you make your way into the room, Metreon, you hear the sudden rush and flapping of many wings, and glancing toward the window, you watch as 4 large, human-sized forms with massive black wingspans take to the skies, moving past your window and then vanishing out of sight. As you do, you hear footsteps coming up the staircase outside, and Lillison, you see Danica, a number of items held in her hands, followed shortly after by Erwin stepping inside. Please, if anyone is injured, let me take a look. I'll do what I can to help.
Thank you so much. Lillison is actually going to see if she can join Amity.
All right. Just so I can get a sense of where everyone is right now, Earthrendir is where? Amity's still in the room. Lillison's in the room with Amity. Kiva's with Irina.
Earthrendir at the moment, if no one is stopping him, is leaving the inn.
All right. Very good. With that, all right, Lillison, you successfully make your way into the room with Amity, and looking around, you hear a soft gasp behind you as Danica surveys the room. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And she sees Amity moving forward. She's carrying a pitcher of water in one hand and bandages in the other. Are the both of you all right? Those creatures.
I'm fine. I believe Amity is probably very hurt. I don't know what happened here, but we're very sorry to bring this trouble down upon you.
No, it's... She kind of bites her lip and hisses beneath her breath. She looks over at the window, shaking her head. It is not your fault. Please, do not blame yourselves. Metreon, you hear footsteps and you see Erwin peer into the room, glancing in. Are you all right in here, son? Was there any trouble, any injury, any damage?
Before he can, get into the room, Metreon boots the door shut.
Erwin sighs heavily. The poor lad's had a long night.
I'll be out in a minute. Sorry.
Of course,
Just
not a
give me a
problem.
moment.
He shakes his head and moves to join Danica. Kiva, as you enter Ismark and Irina's room, Ismark's arm is around Irina's shoulder. He's hugging her tight to his side. Irina doesn't seem to be sobbing, but you can see with your dark vision and your perception that she is very faintly trembling, you hear Ismark murmur, "It's going to be all right. He's not... Nothing's going to happen. It's all right." And you hear Irina begin to murmur something and then pauses. The two of them look up and they can see your shape silhouetted by the flickering candlelight in the corridor outside.
Kiva's going to walk into the room and crouch down in front of Irina, sort of kneeling on the floor, and offer her hand to hold.
Irina sniffs and accepts your hand, holding onto it and then squeezing it with great force. You can feel her skin cold against yours. You can see that she's much paler than ordinary, even for a Barovian, and feel a faint shaking. Are you all right? I heard fighting. Did anyone get hurt?
We're fine. We're all fine. The Martikovs are taking care of Amity, and Erthrindir is very resourceful and was able to heal himself a little bit, and they're all gone, and we're fine. Okay?
She slowly nods. Okay. And you're okay, right? You're okay.
I'm okay. If she's gonna slowly feel it out, she's gonna try to wipe some of the tears away from Irina's face and just sort of lean in and say, "We're not going to let anything happen to you, and we're not going to let anything happen to us. He won't win. I promise you."
Irina flinches as you reach for her and away as you say those words, and says, her voice quiet, "Please just tell them I'm sorry. I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Just tell them I'm sorry."
It's not your fault. What he's doing has nothing to do with you at all. I need you to understand that. I know what it's like to blame yourself for the actions of someone else, but I'm telling you from the bottom of my heart, and I'll keep telling you until you believe me, that none of us blame you for this. You have done nothing wrong.
Irina's hand slowly slips from yours, her grasp going limp. She glances aside, not meeting your eyes. "Please, I just need some time to think. I'm sorry."
Kiva looks hurt, but completely gives her the space that she needs right away and just leaves the room.
Alright. As you do, you feel a hand around your wrist, larger than Irina's. Callus is pressing against your fingers, and as you glance, you see Ismark there. His eyes meeting yours, looking heartfelt and earnest in the darkness. And he whispers, "Thank you," and turns back to his sister.
She nods and respectfully leaves the room.
Alright, as you do, you see Erwin surveying the room to the south. You can see Danica moving toward Amity. If you need, I can wash off some of the bites, see what I can do to clean up the wounds. And you hear Erwin surveying the room, shaking his head. "Damn it. First the problems with the wine shipments, and now this. This is not going to be... Damn it!" He rubs his forehead harshly, digging his fingers deep into the skin there, and turns away, shaking his head, pressing a hand against the wall. He doesn't meet your eyes as you make your way forward. Danica sighs and continues doing her best to clean out Amity's wounds.
Can we help you fix the window?
It's fine. It's fine. And he exhales slowly, and Danica gives you a small smile. "It's all right. It's like I said, it's not your fault. We have friends who can help take care of it. We've got savings. We know some people who can help. We'll be all right. What's important is that our guests are safe, and at least physically, I hope that you all are."
I didn't know what to do. It might be my fault.
Lillison sits down on a chair not that far away, actually, from Amity, and looks at her, and by now her expression is sort of more pity than anything else, and says, Amity, I'm just asking because I want to make sure that you aren't still under the effects. Oh, what were you thinking?
I didn't look in his eyes. I guess you can check that. I was thinking that if I didn't invite him in, then maybe he'd get mad at us and try to kill everyone, or at least a lot of us. But if I invited him in everywhere, then he might do the same thing. So I tried to only get him into my room so that he wouldn't think that I was trying to stop him, but also that he wouldn't get to everyone else.
Willison slowly nods and just says, I wonder whether that counts as a standing invitation. Whether...
Oh, no.
It's all right. There's room on the floors in the other chambers, I suppose.
Next time I'll let you talk.
Thank you. I suppose I could also give you a few pointers, but only if you wanted them. But look, I know that you were trying to be safe. And I don't think that this is your fault, but I think we will have to all weigh our words very, very carefully when dealing with him. There might be a way to refuse him while still staying very polite. I don't know if it will be enough to save us, but... And then she looks over to Danica and says, you seem to have absolutely no trouble denying him entrance, I noticed.
Danica gives you a odd look. It is, well, it is customary in Vallaki and elsewhere not to invite a stranger into your home, and the chances that I might be a vampire. Of course, when you know the guest to, in truth, be a vampire, it is more advisable, yes?
You did not fear his wrath falling upon you at all.
There are other things in this world than the wrath of a bitter man. There is pride, there is family, there is honor, and there is good. There are cruel tyrants, yes, but it does not mean we have to give in to their darkness.
You are a very brave woman.
I am just an innkeeper and the bartender, but thank you. And she looks over to Amity and quietly brushes her fingers across the bandages. There, that should take care of most of the bites. If any blood soaks through, let me know so I can make sure to take care, but you should be good for the rest of the night. They should heal over quickly, they're not very deep.
Listen, did you hear him talk about whether we were interesting and how we were outsiders?
Yes, I heard that.
I think we might want to find other outsiders. If there's anyone who came from the outside but lived here for a while, I don't know, maybe we can start with Octavio. I don't know whether we should try to keep us interesting so that he wants us alive, or be boring so that he doesn't care.
I fear that if we... From the way he was speaking with Erthrendir, it seems that if we do not attract his interest, he may as well kill us as simply ignore us. I don't think that's a very viable strategy.
Then if we do attract his interest, we just have to figure out how to do it without making him angry.
We will have to be clever and resourceful and brave, like the heroes in your stories.
He's gonna kill us anyway. and Metreon at this point, while everyone was talking, was very hurriedly putting on his disguise kit, packing up everything and throwing it in his sack, and is standing in the doorway. It's just kind of like at the tail end of this conversation.
I'm not that kind of person. I'm not a quester. I'm not a hero. I don't want to live in a story.
Everybody's already the hero of their own stories, Amity.
She chuckles bitterly.
Yeah, Lilison kind of rolls her eyes a little bit as she says that as well.
I'm getting out of here. I don't know about any of you, but I can't stay here. Not tonight. Not ever again, frankly. So it's been nice knowing y'all. I gotta get out of here, though.
Metron, I understand the sentiment.
No, you don't understand the sentiment.
All right, I'll pretend to understand the sentiment,
Please.
but he can't get in here. He's out there somewhere.
If you're leaving, then can I take your key? I don't know if I can sleep in this room.
There's a pause for a moment as your words hang in the air. And while this conversation goes on, Earthrendeer, as you make your way away from the inn into the shadows of Vallaki, the dark, empty streets, the waxing moon high overhead, you are alone. What is it Earthrendeer doing?
He is keeping his head down. He's going to find the quietest part of the city he can, whether that be a back alley, a abandoned building with a window open or the door unlocked, just somewhere that's completely secluded.
All right. I mean, so you're looking for an empty house? What exactly? You can duck into one of the alleyways. They all seem quite quiet and empty.
Alleyway will work then. He's going to find the
All right.
most secluded one he can.
You find a little corner where a house has a little alcove into the side, a place where perhaps another wing or another structure once stood, but now you see only dark and damp cobblestone overcome with green-black flecks of moss, a soft puddle of mud onto one side, and the old splinters of ancient crates sticking up out of the sodden earth. There's a thin mist curling along the ground of this muddy alleyway, and as you lean against the wall, you can see your breath softly swirling and misting in the air as you exhale.
He's almost crying, and obviously holding it back, but instead he draws his wand from the sheath at his hip, concentrates, and begins to weave a pattern in the air, leaving blue sea green lines glowing. And this is more complicated than his usual spells. After it goes on for about a minute, and fairly soon the air around him is full of writing and shimmering light. And he finishes the pattern, his steps quiet and precise, and casts Silent Image. And the alley isn't an alley anymore. It's a beach at sundown. Waves lapping against where the moss used to be in a bed of pearly gray sand. And he surveys the spell for a moment, and then sits on the sand, feet outstretched towards the surf, and puts his head in his hands, and stays there until the spell wears off.
All right. The mist softly curls. Earthrendeer by himself in the alley. And back in the inn, Amity's request for the key rings out as Metreon holds his sack over his shoulder. Metreon, what is your response?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Amity asked if she could have your key if you're leaving permanently because she doesn't think she can sleep in, this room.
Yeah, he just rifles through one of his pockets and tosses it at her feet.
Thank you. And Lillison, if you have any tips, then I'm all up for hearing them.
In the morning, yes. Metreon, you know that leaving by yourself is certain death, right?
I don't know anything right now. And Metreon turns around and walks away.
Do you actually think, Lillison, that Metreon and Erthrindir are certainly dead?
I don't know. I certainly don't think it's the wisest thing to leave by themselves right now, but I'm also certain that if they stayed here, they would probably kill me, so I'm good either way.
I don't think they're really that angry at you.
Oh, no, of course not, but they seem like the sort of person who, when they get angry, it spills out to everybody around them.
Maybe.
Do you know the sort of person I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I have a feeling that you know it better than me.
Not particularly, I don't think. You said that you came from a small village. Was it... I suppose. Was it peaceful there?
Everyone knows everyone, and reputation is really important. So, it was pretty peaceful. There were some people who were prone to anger, but we all got along together.
Oh, why did you leave, if you don't mind my asking?
I didn't intend to leave permanently. I hope I didn't leave permanently. I was going to Neverwinter for business.
Yes, you mentioned the publisher for your book of tales. I suppose I had assumed that you had been on the road for, well, before that, at least.
I've left the village, but I've always lived there. It's always been my home. I've never left for a long time. Gone to live in another city entirely.
Ah, I see. DM, where is Truffle?
Oh, I mean, Truffle's... He probably woke up, I guess, during the bat thing. He's probably hiding under a bed. But it's up to Dragna, I guess.
Yes, Truffle is in fact hiding under a bed. You look down and you see him trembling and quaking, his little beady black eyes wide, and as Amity peers down to look at him, he snuffles up at her in small distress.
Amity curls him up in her arms. It's alright, the bats are gone. It's okay, Truffle. Good Truffle.
I suppose this is Truffle's first big, terrifying adventure as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Listen, I know this is going to be a bad night for all of us, but at some point, tomorrow, maybe tomorrow evening, I would love to actually hear some of your stories. I wasn't here for when you gave that performance in the tap room.
I'd love to.
Lillison smiles in what seems to be a very genuine manner and stands up. Do you want to take Metreon's bed?
Sure, as long as it's not covered in makeup.
I can't promise that
All right. And Amity goes to Metreon's bed and examines it for stains.
Metron, is the bed stained at all, or is it irrelevant?
Oh yeah, the pillows and the especially are quite stained with shoe polish and pancake makeup.
I mean, as long as it's only makeup.
I mean, there's some there's some wine stains too. So those are the only stains that you detect.
Okay, that's good.
Any other stains are from previous guests.
Likely story.
Certainly.
All right, so as Amity moves toward Metron's room, Erwin and Danica move in. You see each of them with a broom and a dustpan beginning to sweep up the shattered bits of glass and splintered wood upon the ground of the room, slowly doing their best to clean up and surveying the area as they try to put things back to a semblance of normalcy.
Listen, I know you were in the camp that was just like, live here forever, make a living, but I really, really want to get out of here, if I can.
I understand. And for what it's worth, I don't actually want to live here forever and make a living. I just think that we need to at least figure out what people here are like in their daily lives so we can keep our heads down when we need to.
Right. Let's do it.
All right, is anyone else doing anything in the inn at this point?
So,
Kiva, what do you... Yes.
Oh, perfect timing. So once she sees Erwin and Danica go into the room that everyone else has vacated, she's going to enter the room and sort of close the door behind her, but not shut it all the way. So, like, just, keep it cracked open.
All right. You can see that Erwin and Danica appear to be... Erwin is murmuring something to Danica. Danica shakes her head. But as the door quietly squeaks, almost closed, Danica's gaze glances over toward you. Oh, Kiva, forgive us. We were just doing our best to get the room back in order. It shouldn't be too long.
Take your time, truly. I don't know if any of us are going to be going right back to sleep, but I would like to talk to you about something, if that's all right.
Erwin nods. Of course, whatever we can do is. What do you have in mind? Can we any concerns that we can assist with? I know that you've all had quite a troublesome evening.
Just one, actually. What can you tell me about those birds?
Erwin's eyebrows slowly creep up, and Danica's eyes faintly narrow, and that's where we're going to take a break.
Great!
Oh boy.
All right. So, with that, we will take our break here, just a quick 15-minute one. We will pick back up afterwards. So, hope you all enjoyed the first half of the episode, and until we come back, please do enjoy a few other messages from our D&D community, including a short video produced by Twy, who plays Erthrindir on Twice Bitten. We will see you back here. Yeah, it is indeed. So, we'll see you back here soon.
Hello, everybody. My name is Erthrindir E. Ariel, and it's a pleasure to meet you all. I know my name's a little funny. I'm not from around here, so it's alright if it's a bit tough to pronounce. Today, I'm going to be teaching you a few important safety tips for surviving out in the wilderness. I've been out in these woods for 20 or 30 years now, and while I don't know everything there is to know, I can certainly help you make sure that your trip is safe, enjoyable, and most of all, fun. So, first, the woods. All around us is about 600 square miles of forest. If you were to walk from one end to the other, you'd be walking for about a week before you made it to any sign of civilization. If you get lost here, you're going to get very lost. And that means you need to understand that this is not a place where people are meant to spend a lot of time. Sure, we've carved out pockets of life and safety in nature, but it's not our friend. Nature is largely dispassionate towards us, and if you don't remember that, you are going to die. Now, I know what some of y'all may be thinking. Maybe some city slickers may die, but I'm tough. I know the woods, I can start a fire, I can kill a deer. If I got lost, I'd be just fine. And it's true. You will be fine. For about a day. And then, my friends, things are going to get inconvenient. First, the bugs will start biting. And without anywhere to shelter from them, pretty soon it's going to feel like your body is one big mosquito bite. And next up, you're going to get tired. Really tired. And thirsty too. But oh no, you've got to boil your water to be safe. Which means you need firewood, which means you need a place to light a fire, which means you need a pot to put your water in, and you don't have any of those things. Suddenly you're not sipping from a crystal clear brook, you're straining muddy pond water through your socks in the hopes that it might be drinkable, let alone free from diseases and the tiny little insect larvae that like to lurk in stagnant pools. And friends, that's during the day. At night, well, you gotta eat. Can you trap an animal? Can you build a snare? Do you have a skinning knife to get all the gross bits of the animal out? Do you know how to get the gross bits of the animal out? I sure don't. And, most importantly, do you have some bandages on hand for when that little fluffy rabbit you clubbed with a rock tries to claw your eyes out? So, in the best case scenario, presuming you can start a fire, presuming that the bug bites don't get infected, and presuming that you haven't already passed out from heat exhaustion, when you're lost, you're sitting by a tree, nibbling charred, unseasoned rabbit leg, and drinking water you filtered through your sweat socks. Stay on the path. Now, another thing to be conscientious of. Out here, it's just you and the stars. This can mean a lot of freedom, but this can mean some problems too. When you're out there, imagine you're out on a sailboat at sea. You prepared for the trip, you're competent, you brought supplies, but if the waves start crashing and a storm rolls in over the horizon, there is no one who's going to be able to save you. You and those you bring with you are your options. So, you better get real confident in their capabilities. If, like me, you're not too confident in that, here's a few lessons I've learned from my time out here. Animals generally aren't going to hurt you if you don't hurt them. But they will absolutely destroy everything you hold dear if you have something they want. I remember 5 years in, I was very excited about getting a shipment of sugar out here, but I made the mistake of throwing some badly burnt cookies outside. That morning, I awoke to a bear lapping up the crumbs from the cookies, while another one rummaged through my storehouse 10 feet from my cabin. If you brought anything sweet or strong-smelling with you, pack it up very, very carefully. Second, if you get hurt or ill, especially if you're solo camping, take care of it as soon as you can. Don't let things fester, people. There are a lot of diseases out here that'll kill you in a heartbeat if you're not careful. Don't eat berries if you don't recognize them. Don't assume that snake that bit you wasn't venomous. And don't break your leg trying to put up a new set of bookshelves and then desperately hope that it's a sprain. Because sending a letter for help will take weeks, and you've forgotten how to cast the only healing spell you ever learned because you left your textbooks at home in a fit of childish pique after getting kicked out of school? Sorry, where was I? Right. Isolation. It's a slow, insidious killer. If there's one thing you take away from this talk, if you take away anything from it, Corelli and Ari, get it together. It's that you need to rely on each other. Rely on the people you're camping with, rely on their knowledge and skills. And if you happen to not have anybody to camp with and you're going it alone, well, you can rely on me. Just please don't wake me up to ask where you can buy mallow root again. We are in the middle of a protected forest. There's not a store!
If you think your hometown has problems, you haven't spent nearly enough time in the village of Barovia.
Over the years, their taste for human flesh had only grown.
The vampire spawn.
The undead cult, the werewolf den.
I just think we can do a little better here.
Grab our shovels and we're going to add some depth to help you run your best
Curse of Strahd.
Strahd possible. You're welcome.
He flies into a fit of rage that is unparalleled.
There's child abuse galore through this thing. He's been nailed to the wall with very long iron spikes, and I imagine it's been a very uncomfortable time for him.
You see, in tracking a monster, one always needs proper bait.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Thank you all for sticking around during the break and for joining us on Curse of Strahd Twice Bitten. So, before we begin, as always, just a few quick announcements to get ourselves out of the way. First, as always, a shout out to our virtual tabletop sponsor for this campaign, Foundry VTT. They've had a lot of great updates coming out, great platform if you're looking to run your game online or virtually, and heavily recommend. All of the graphical assets you guys see here are through Foundry. At least the ones up the maps and images of locations. So they do a great job. Highly recommend checking them out. So with that, Twy, what do you got?
Well, thank you to all our lovely Twitch subscribers and for everything they've done. We really appreciate y'all. And if you would like to join that crowd, you can join if you have an Amazon Prime account. Then you probably have a Twitch Prime sub lying around, which we would appreciate greatly. It gets you access to a lot of great benefits, including emotes, our Nat 20 and Nat 1s that Jack made, which are exceptional, and just generally helps out the stream a bunch. So thank you very much. And with that, Serena?
Hello, everyone. As always, I'm here to plug our new subreddit, reddit.com/r/twicebittendnd. We will have episode lists, an asset library, live episode discussion threads. YouTube and podcast episodes will end up there, as well as all sorts of fun community discussion. You can submit artwork, ads, and memes to our email, even if you sent them on Twitter or in the Discord. Submit everything to twicebittencos@gmail.com. Our Deadpool is always open. I will put the link in chat once I'm done talking. It'll be open until the next person dies, which was almost today. And then we'll announce the winners live on stream. And the last and most exciting thing, just in time for our 13th episode, Halloween, and the release of the Curse of Strahd revamped box set, we will be doing a Twitter giveaway. So one lucky winner will receive their very own revamped box set delivered to their home, not by me, probably by Amazon. The giveaway will be open for 13 days starting tomorrow, October 18th at 12 p.m. EST. The tweet will go live, and it will end on Friday, October 30th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. In order to be qualified for the giveaway, you have to like, retweet, and follow us on Twitter. You only have to retweet the actual giveaway tweet itself. One entry per person, please. Let's try to keep it fair, and best of luck.
Thank you. And just to confirm, what is the Twitter handle that people should visit?
You should follow us on Twitter at TwiceBittenCOS.
All right. Thank you very much, Serena. And Kaya, did you mention your point yet?
Not yet. Speaking of potential character death, as part of our Halloween episode, we are putting together our own community March of the Dead. So if you have a PC who has died in Barovia, whether it was your PC as a player, or whether it was part of a party that you DM'd for, we invite you to submit their name and details at tinyurl.com/marchofthedead. If you have artwork of them, please fill out the form and then email that piece of artwork to us at twicebittencos@gmail.com with the subject March of the Dead -character name, and we will feature it alongside the character info. So again, on our Halloween episode during our break, we will have just a list of memorials to all of those brave adventurers who entered Barovia and never left again.
May they rest in peace. And the URL is tinyurl.com/marchofthedead. That's tinyurl.com/marchofthedead. All right. Thank you, all of you guys, for sharing these announcements. I think that we've gotten everything out of the way. So, with that, thank you all for hanging around, and let's dive back in. So, Kiva, as your words hang in the air for a moment, Danica's eyes narrow slightly, and he watches Erwin's face expands into a small, tight smile. Forgive me, my dear, you'll have to specify. There are quite a number of birds in Barovia.
Look, I understand better than anyone the need to keep secrets, but we were just attacked in a place that we were told was safe. we now know it is at least safe because of these giant bird creatures that appeared and threatened Strahd. I would just like to know what that's about, and maybe who are they, and are they going to try to kill us as well eventually?
Erwin sighs, stroking his beard. He pulls himself up from the place where he'd been kind of crouching to sweep up the shattered glass into the dustpan and stretches, cracking his back for a moment before sighing and meeting your eyes. Well, regarding birds and ravens in general, there are a number of superstitions surrounding ravens in Barovia. A number of Barovian folk believe that harming a raven is ill fortune, that to injure one might endear you to ill luck. Perhaps that is what our evening intruders thought. And he raises an eyebrow for a moment and kind of cracks a small smile before realizing that it's obviously not going to take, and nodding, his shoulders slumping a bit. Regardless, I appreciate your concern, my dear, and I truly do not wish to seem as though I'm holding anything back from you. But truly, all that I can share is that, to the best of my knowledge, Von Zarevich is not the only creature at work in Barovia.
Okay.
There are others who believe that his tyranny need not be absolute. I cannot say exactly what it is that might have brought these creatures or individuals, be what they may, to our doorstep this eve, but to my understanding, they do not seem to be harmful.
How can I get in contact with them?
He blinks. That, unfortunately, is not something that I can share, I'm afraid. I'm merely an innkeeper, after all, but suffice it to know that there are those who believe that things can be other than what they are.
Right, I understand. I really do. That you probably need to protect these people. You probably don't want it getting out that people are secretly opposing the way things are. But I have almost died more times than I can count since I've been here, and I don't even know if it's been more than a week. So you're going to have to forgive me if I'm not really interested in beating around the bush. I want Strahd von Zarevich dead. Dead. And I would really, really, really love to be the one that does it. I'm not leaving here until it happens. So if you're telling me that there are people, bird or otherwise, that also oppose his rule, I would really appreciate getting into contact with them.
Erwin glances at Danica and sighs. I'm afraid you ask too much of this old innkeeper. There's many things that I do not know, many things that are not within my power. I respect your interests, I truly do. But forgive me, the most that I can do for you this evening is see to it that you are cleaned up and made comfortable as best I can. I think your zeal is admirable, but perhaps right now your attentions would be best directed to ensuring that your friends are safe.
We're never going to be safe until he's dead. And I think you understand that better than anyone. So, pardon me if I'm not exactly eager to just tuck in and try to forget what happened tonight. And she's going to leave the room. This isn't over.
You hear a long sigh, and then the crackling and crunching of grass as Erwin returns to sweeping the shards into his dustpan.
Kiva hesitates in the hallway. She's like, fuck, Irina's out and I don't want to go back in there. So she's going to go down to the sort of bar area and just tuck up in the corner and try to get back to sleep.
All right. You can see that there are a few candles flickering in the lanterns that have been set hanging from the eaves underneath the balcony. Another candle that's been lit, leaving a lonely flickering across the rest of the room. But it's quiet. And in the darkness in the one corner, You feel not peaceful, but for the moment in solitude. And as you attempt to re-enter your trance, you feel the sensations around you slowly fade. As this happens, Metreon, there's a soft crunch of gravel as you slowly make your way through the streets, down the cobblestones, as the mist softly swirls atop the streets.
Yeah, his eyes are darting left and right and everywhere in between, just to make sure that like nothing, no zombies or bats or Strahds are following him.
Make a perception check.
$11.
11. Glancing around, you don't notice any indication of anyone following you.
Yeah, that checks out. It's more paranoia than anything. But he, grabbing his coat and having his hood pulled over his head, clutching his bag, he is going to go ahead and make his way back towards the church that he had visited earlier that night.
All right. You make your way through the dark streets, shivering as the wind sweeps through the alleys, slowly pulling the cloak tighter around your chest and shoulders. As you approach the church, you can see in the distance in the tall palisade wall that encircles the town a lonely light of a flame bobbing as its wielder slowly makes their way around the edges of the fortified walls. And as you turn toward the church, you notice that its windows are dark, the light beyond the stained glass extinguished, and a quiet peace settled over the structure and the quiet, mist-strewn graveyard on its side.
Noticing that it looks dark, Metreon is going to go ahead and, as stealthily as he can, go up the steps that lead into the front doors and see if they're unlocked.
The doors are unlocked.
So yeah, with that, he's gonna very carefully and quietly as he can open it just enough so that he can squeeze himself in.
All right. And you're looking to do this stealthily, right?
Yes.
Make a stealth check for me.
That's gonna be a 10.
All right. You step forward, and as you do, you hear a soft creak as one of the floorboards groans beneath your weight. You pause and freeze. Doesn't seem to be anyone responding to it, though.
Yeah, I wince as I hear the floorboard creak, but I wait a moment, and after a few beats of not seeing anyone, I go ahead and sneak to the back pew and furthermost away from the door. And as I just kind of sit there for a moment, I take the time to wonder what the fuck I've gotten myself into. But at some point, he is going to try to get some kind of rest. And as he does so, he takes up his bag and kind of like shuffles it behind his head. And as he lays his head down, he feels this kind of rattling, this crunch that's unfamiliar to him. And he takes a moment and pulls the bag up into his lap. And as he starts to rifle through, he remembers that there was this weird package left for him. So he reaches in and very carefully in the darkness peels back the paper and notices that it is the wooden bat mobile from Blinsky's shop. Oh, hell. And he just kind of holds it in his hand for a moment, looks back at the door, looks back at the mobile, looks down at the floor, looks up at the darkness of this temple, this church. He deeply sighs and stores the mobile back into his bag, and not being stealthily, starts to walk out, and he's going to go ahead and head back to the inn.
All right. As you move toward the door, reaching toward the handle, you hear floorboard groan beneath you, and you hear a familiar voice sound. "It is late to be out and about, my son, but would I be remiss in guessing that something weighs upon your spirit this eve?" And you turn and you see Father Lucian standing there wearing a nightgown and a small tattered cap tilting off to one side, looking tired, but kindness in his eyes.
Oh, Father, forgive me. I just needed a sanctuary for a moment.
Of course, many who do can find it at St. Andrew's Church. I hope that, despite the brevity of your time here, perhaps it gave some insight or comfort.
I'll be honest, Father. And I start to back away from the door and approach him very slowly and carefully. Do you remember how, and I don't expect you to, but do you remember when we spoke earlier that I confessed that I had seen the devil?
He nods. Indeed, it is troubling, and I'm sorry for the pain that you must have felt. But fear not, he cannot harm you here. What words can I give you? What words do you wish to share?
He came again tonight, and me and my traveling companions were helpless against him. And I can't stay here anymore. I can't be here anymore. I can't be in Barovia, Vallaki, anything. I need to get back home. And please tell me that you or the Morning Lord knows something about that. There's some way to get me out of here, because I don't have it in me to keep going.
Father Lucian sighs. My son, I understand your pain. Many have felt it, have felt confusion. The mists are strong, but the souls within are stronger. The Morning Lord's light may not have shone in a long time, but I assure you, you can find peace here. And for what it may be worth, I urge you not to concern yourself overmuch with thoughts of departing through the mists. It is impossible, I am afraid. Only the Vistani may pass through, and they, by their servitude, are creatures that I'm afraid may not be trusted. You have a chance to be better. I urge you, do not fritter your time away on thoughts of nightmares and terror. Seek what hope you can, and seek to share it. For in the works of providing sanctuary to others, you may come to find a sanctuary of your own. Does that make sense?
It does. I need you to know that this wasn't just a nightmare. This was real. This was... And I mouth the word Strahd to him without actually saying it.
He sighs. It must be very concerning. I'm sure you've heard what the Baron insists regarding the devil, but St. Andrew's protection watches over us all. You did not fear, my son.
Well, it's good to know if he visits me again, I can come back here. You're saying this place is hallowed, it's sacred, it's that even if I did come back and he was there outside the door, he could not come in.
Father Lucian winces momentarily, but then nods. There is always a home for you here, my son. You need not fear that you shall not find safety at St. Andrew's Church. So long as I stand with breath in my body, I will ensure it for you. And with St. Andrew's guidance, you need not fear, my son.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind. And he's gonna go. I'll give him like a bit of an awkward smile, and turn around and head out of the church and head back towards the inn.
All right. The door to the church closes shut behind you, and you find yourself once more in the chill night air of Vallaki. As you make your way across the cobblestone, Erthrindir, by now the spell you have cast has ended. How long are you looking to stay out this night?
Once the spell fades, he gets up, wipes his eyes, and I think heads back to the inn.
All right. By this point, I'm assuming Lilison and Amity and Kiva have... Well, Kiva, I know. Amity has gone to sleep as well. Is Lilin retiring as well?
Lilison is sitting on her bed in the room, not really like watching Amity sleep so much as just like staring into the darkness and waiting and listening.
All right. 30 minutes pass, 45, then you hear footsteps softly coming up the wooden staircase outside. The window, you can faintly see Metron's silhouette making its way up the stairs, now long after Erwin and Danica have departed and retired to their own chambers. Metron, you re-enter the inn.
Yeah, I'll just head back towards my room.
Lilison is going to meet him at the door and just say,
Oh, jeez, don't sneak up on me like that.
I wasn't sneaking. Look, you can take my bed if you want. Amity's and yours.
No, it's fine. Is she all right?
She seems fine. Better than Earthrendir, at least. Did you see him while you were out there?
No, I didn't. Did you talk to her about what she was saying to Strahd?
Yes, I did. She was just scared and thought that appeasing him was the best solution, and has now realized that she should probably not stay in that compromised room any longer.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Listen, and there's this very long, pregnant pause. I think I might have a lead on how we might be able to get out of here, or find people who might be able to get us out of here.
You do?
So the Vistana, right? The Vistani. I was speaking to the father here, the father of the Church of the Morning Lord, and he had mentioned that they're able to get in and out without any trouble.
But Ismark said that they were spies for, him.
Yeah, well, I mean, the father said they weren't to be trusted much either, but I mean, he didn't say that they were spies. And I mean, are they all spies? Maybe if we just go and see if we can follow them, sneak stealthily, just I don't know, but that's the only lead I got. That, and if things go south, apparently the Church of Saint Andrew is supposedly hallowed, so we can go there at least.
Those are two pieces of information that are very good to know. I wonder if the Vistani would take a bribe.
I mean, I don't know, but nothing talks like gold. And I mean, I don't have any gold on me, but and he very kind of hesitantly shakes his sack, and you hear the jingle of not only the mobile but also the jewelry in there.
She nods with a small smile growing and says, "And you didn't run across any other trouble while you were out there, did you?"
No, I didn't see nothing. I didn't see nothing, but I'm remiss to say this, but I realized something when I was at the church, that we're in this together, and this is not me. This is not how I'm usually am, but I mean, I usually work best on my own, but I don't think that's going to be the case here. And if we have any shot of getting out of here alive, I think we gotta have that together, and that means no more arguing about silly shit. No more inviting Strahd into places just because you think he's gonna, not bite you just because you're nice to him.
I mean, I am in complete agreement with you there.
I can't believe I'm the voice of reason here.
I echo your sentiments 100%.
Alright, well, don't worry about getting out. I mean, you gotta sleep too. I'll make do. It's fine. I'll probably go down to the tavern.
All right. I think Kiva went down there, so don't be surprised if you see her.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. You two gonna be all right up here?
I think so. Good night, Metreon.
Right. Yeah. I'll see you in the morning. And Metron will go down to the tavern.
All right, is he doing anything specific there, or just sleeping? Or...
Yeah, he's just gonna go in. If the door's unlocked, he's gonna just kind of like the church, just sneak inside. If it's not unlocked, he'll just use his lockpicks to get in. But he notices Kiva in her trance and will take the opposite side of the room and find a corner and put his boots up and take his rest.
Right. As he does so, you slowly settle into your sleep. Lillison, as you move back to your own bed, you hear footsteps coming up from outside, and you see a tired-looking Earthrendir slowly making his way up the steps back into the inn. Earthrendir, are you heading inside?
Yes, he's going to go for the room that's not the one that Lillison and Kiva are in, or not the one that Lillison and Amity are in, the one that he met Strahd in. And yeah, once he's in, he's just going to sling his pack down, drop into a bed, and try very earnestly to sleep.
Lillison is actually going to, catch his eye as he's moving up and say, I know you probably don't want to hear my voice much longer than you have to, but I wouldn't sleep in there if I were you. We don't know how long the invitation is going to hold. There's an empty bed here.
It doesn't matter. If he wants inside anywhere, he's got minions. He's got foolproof mind control for anyone who looks in his eyes. It doesn't matter what we do to protect against it. He could have one of his minions drag me outside, look me in the hold my eyes open, and then make me give him permission to enter. It doesn't matter. He doesn't want us dead yet, evidently. Frankly, I don't think posturing for protection is going to make a lick of difference.
Very well, then. I'm glad that you didn't meet with some unfortunate fate while you were out. Did you see Metreon while he was out there?
Our paths didn't intersect. Is he alright?
He seems fine. He said he got some hopeful-sounding leads on perhaps a way out of here.
Great. Alright. Thanks, Lillison. Good night.
She just nods and then gently shuts the door.
Okay. Then yeah, Earthrendir's going to lie down in his bed, pull the covers over his head, and try to trance.
Alright. And will Lillison take her rest as well?
Lillison is actually going to try to stay awake all night.
Alright. With that, Lillison, you take up your place, looking watchfully out the window. Is there anything you're doing, or are you just remaining watchful?
She remains watchful for probably like 30 more minutes. And then she sighs, gets out her knitting needles and a skein of yarn and starts casting on a sock.
All right. And with that, Amity slumbering in the bed beside her with the quiet click of the knitting needles as Lillison's tired eyes gaze out the window into darkness. And slowly, darkness begins to lighten to shades of grays. As the overcast sky, as the moon sets, its white light slowly giving way to the dreary gray of the Barovian day. The mist softly spilling off the sides and eaves of the houses beyond, and the town beyond beginning to awaken. And as dawn comes, you hear Lillison, you hear soft sounds of movement and activity below. And as you watch, you hear the tap room door opening and then shutting again, and you see Octavio slowly making his way out the front door, ambling his way onto the street, a small parcel wrapped in a handkerchief tucked under one arm as he slowly makes his way away from the tavern and into the street. Slowly.
Lillison will wonder silently to herself what Rictavia was doing last night that he did not get woken up. She is going to make a note to ask that later.
With that, minutes more pass, the day slowly coming as the dawn passes by and the day comes, and you hear a soft stirring at the bed beside you, and Amity, you come awake, Metron, you come awake, and Kiva and Erthrindir, you can hear your friends slowly stirring to wakefulness.
Oh, this is Kiva.
Yes.
Oh, this is the first time I think I've woken up without a hangover in well, as long as I can remember. How you holding up?
I'm doing all right. I was worried about you. I'm glad you came back.
Yeah, well, I mean, strength for numbers and all that.
Well, maybe I should wait for the group to tell this, but, I had an interesting conversation with the Martikovs.
Oh?
Yeah, I think they know a lot more than they're letting on about, Did you see the birds that came?
I mean, I saw some birds fluttering outside, but I just thought they was ravens.
Yeah, there were a bunch of ravens, and there was, something else like I've never seen before. It was almost, as tall as me, but like a raven, and it threatened Strahd. I tried to explain to them that, look, I just want him dead, to try to see if maybe they could get me in contact with them, but apparently there are others who are trying to rid the land of him as well. So at least we're not completely without allies.
Well, that's good then. We've got potential people who can help us out. I've been making friendly with the father here, Father Lucian, and he's been pretty helpful. I gotta ask though, you keep talking about seeing him dead and all that. Is that what you want most out of this?
I don't know if there's any other way for us to leave. If there is, of course, I mean, I'll take it, but I really, really want to make sure that he doesn't hurt anyone again.
I'll get that, but I'm asking because I don't want you just like rushing at him again, or using yourself as a meat shield. You know, if we're gonna get through this, we gotta get through this. We gotta be smart. And I'm not the smartest, so I gotta rely on other people.
No, you're right. I'm nowhere near strong enough to take him on, certainly, so it's probably going to take some time, but I don't know. Talking to you and realizing that we were all together last night, I don't know, I hesitate to say this, of course, but it almost gives me hope. And I haven't felt that since we got here.
Yeah, I think we're not as hopeless as everything as we might have thought. You know, I think we're finding people, we're finding places. You know, the church itself is protected and all that, and you know, there's Vistani who can come and go. I'm sure, you know, maybe we can. You know, I was talking a little about it. Maybe we can barter with them. Maybe we can, you know, buy their allegiance or whatnot.
The Vistani can leave?
Yeah, no. I was talking to Father Lucian, and he said that they could just come and go as they please.
Well, that's great news. We can definitely work with that. I do have one question, DM, though. Did Metreon or Kiva or both see Rictavio leaving in the morning?
Kiva would have. She was trancing. Apologies for not mentioning, but yes, she would have seen him kind of make his way downstairs, make his way to the counter, he meeting Danica there briefly and accepting a small parcel wrapped in a handkerchief that he then took under his shoulder and exited the tap room with.
And he didn't, like, make any notice that he saw her, right?
I mean, from what it looked like, he seemed to just, you know, glance over the room. I presume you were kind of tucked away in a corner. He probably glanced at you for a moment, but, you know, not with lingering interest.
Okay. She's going to clock that as well, because she forgot that he was even here with the events of last night. So yeah, she's going to make a mental note of that as well. Thank you.
Of course. So, at this point, Amity has also come awake. Lillison, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me, please.
Constitution, my favorite.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're gonna ace
I know
this.
that's for a fact.
Come on, 20.
Hold on. I'm having a bit of trouble.
You're
All
fine.
good. Well, that's happening. Oh,
Whoa, that is somehow a 20 Constitution saving throw.
okay. With that, you do not. You're a little tired, you know, but you've had all-nighters before. You are not exhausted today. Congratulations. As Lillison comes to realize this, the day is yours. What would you all like to do?
Metron will wait downstairs with Kiva. Is there any, like, at this hour, are Danica and Erwin kind of shuffling about, doing any kind of morning activity down there, or is it just us two?
At this point, Kiva, you would have seen, you know, Danica emerge for a moment from making her way down the stairs and going to the kitchen for a moment before meeting with Rictavio at the counter with the parcel. But she's since made her way back up to her room. You've not seen either of the Martikovs since.
I will say that Kiva would try to give Danica, like, a super pointed look if she makes eye contact with her, and just, like, really mentally hammer in the fact that, like, she's onto them and she's not dropping it.
Retroactively, then, you can assume that Danica kind of met your gaze with a soft, quiet, steely gaze of her own, and just gave a curt nod and made her way upstairs to her room before shutting the door.
Okay, thank you for that retroactive badass lady moment.
Of course. Yes.
Yeah, no. Well, if neither of them are down there, Metreon will have touched his makeup up, and he's going to go ahead and try and find the wine.
Okay, you can actually see that, the taproom itself, there appear to be several large barrels in curtained alcoves. And you've seen Danica drawing wine from taps in these large barrels before.
Yeah, he's just going to fill his wineskin up. This is compensation for last night.
All right. As you do, you fill your wineskin up around a third of the way before the barrel trickles dry and no more wine comes forth.
Oh shit! Well, you didn't see nothing, Kiva. And he caps his wineskin, tucks it into his jacket, and goes rushes back to his spot.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
Meanwhile, if Amity is waking up, Lillison is just gonna kind of lean forward and just say, "Good morning."
Amity rolls awake. Good morning. We made it through the night?
We did, and both Metreon and Erthrindir came back.
Not so certain death after all.
I suppose not. Erthrindir went back into the larger room, despite my attempts to persuade him not to. When you're awake and dressed and feeling up for it, would you mind checking in on him?
Oh, right. He seemed pretty mad last night.
Yes, I think he would probably be more willing to talk to you.
Amity, with trepidation, goes and knocks on the door.
There's a moment of silence and then a muffled, "What?"
How are you feeling?
Oh, come in.
Amity enters. Oh, I thought you were mad at me.
Erthrindir rolls over. His hair is just matted in front of his face in a great tangle. His blankets are on the floor. He just leans up to look at her, and I am, but I don't think me being mad at you is going to change anything, because he kind of trails off. It doesn't help. And also, you were trying to survive. It doesn't. It's okay.
Do you want to talk about what I should have done?
Do you?
I don't really know. I'm just from here on. I'm letting Lillison take charge.
No. Okay, she's very smart, but and he kind of stands up. This is you've got. It wasn't a bad inclination on its own, because you're smart. You realize that playing along and would help, that it kind of didn't really matter if he could get inside, and that the best way to survive was to keep him placated. That's smart. That's a good plan. It's not a good idea in that particular context, but you don't need to neglect your ideas. That's important. Don't never ever hand over your right to think or your right to make plans to somebody else. No matter how smart, no matter how intelligent, no matter how much better you think they'll do. That's yours.
Thank you. Genuinely, that means a lot to me.
Yeah, sorry. So, how are you doing?
Well, I managed to get a wink of sleep, and I was thinking that, well, your plan. I'm sorry, maybe we shouldn't talk about this. We were thinking about whether we should try to make Strahd, or the vampire, whether we should try to make him want us alive, or just not care about us at all. Sorry, I shouldn't talk about this. Let's just go downstairs.
It's a bit too early. Let's wait till we've got everybody.
I want to ask Rictavia what he did, because he seems alive.
I don't think he's going to talk to us. He doesn't seem inclined, frankly.
Alright.
Well, and yeah. Just give me a minute to get changed.
Alright, I'll be downstairs. And Amity goes to meet with the others in the tap room.
Yep. Erthrindir will pull on his clothes and follow after.
Alright, as you do, the door to the room beside yours creaks open. Ismark and Irina step out wearing clean clothing, both looking a little bleary-eyed. Ismark nodding to Erthrindir and Amity, rumbling, "Good morning. I take it that the others are getting up as well?"
They're downstairs, we think.
Of course.
Glad to see you're not dead.
He flashes a small, tight smile with Arena, who offers a tired smile in response, though the corners of it don't quite reach her eyes. Ismark slowly exhales and says, "We're doing our best. Please, lead the way."
Alrighty. And yeah, Earthrendeer will head downstairs to the bar, and when he sees Metreon and Kiva, will tromp over to him and throw himself in a chair. Morning.
Good morning.
That it is.
Sleep all right?
No.
Well, that makes sense.
He does not appear to have much more to say. He does not appear to have much more to say at the moment.
Yeah, Kiva doesn't press the issue. She just sort of goes back to scribbling in her journal.
You're uncharacteristically quiet this morning.
Earthrendeer opens his mouth to what looks like to say something cutting, and then just kind of slumps. I had a man nearly tear my heart out of my chest yesterday. I'm got a lot to process this morning.
Gotta do it.
It would. You doing all right? I know you went out same time I did.
I mean, yeah, where the die go, we're gonna live. It's kind of a binary choice. But no, I think, and uncharacteristic of me, I think that we're better together, and that we're stronger as a unit, but we got to be together as a unit. So no more of whatever everyone else was doing. No more rushing into battle. No more trying to make nice with him, be diplomatic. None of that's going to work with him. It's just not.
No, yeah. Earthrendeer gives a small smile. You're talking a lot of sense all of a sudden. I like that.
All of a sudden?
Forget I said anything.
I've always been a sage. I've always been a fountain of wisdom.
Oh, of certain kinds.
Kiva, I mean, you agree, right?
Darling, you've always made perfect sense to me.
Thank you. See?
Well,
right there.
I mean, sure, if your fountain of wisdom is on very specific subjects, then you certainly could have some acolytes in the way of Metreon.
I love to be worshipped.
I'm sure you do.
At any rate, where are the other two at?
Coming. I don't know about Lillison.
At this point, who is not in the tap room? I know Ismark, Irina, Kiva, Erthrendeer, Metron, and Amity are all there. Is Lillison downstairs?
Lillison is going to find, if possible, a sort of just bit of flat dirt outside the Blue Water Inn.
Okay, that's easy enough to find. You just find that there's a good amount of flat dirt just adjacent to the well.
Okay, she's going to look around, see if anybody might be watching, and then her face just screws up like she's gonna cry, and she fires several acid splashes just into the ground for about 3 minutes. Then she stops, puts her hands on her knees, doubles over, breathes really heavily for a while, then rearranges her expression, dusts off her hands, and then goes into the tap room.
All right. And as you re-enter, you hear behind you the sounds of the faintly hissing, dissolving soil, leaving deep gouges and scars in the earth as the steam of a sickly green and gray slowly rises, mixing with the red of the acid in the air. And the door shuts tight behind you. Ismark gives you a nod as you enter. Good morning. Then there's a bit of glumness on his face as he turns to the others. So, I would suppose that last night changed quite a few things for all of us.
We're not safe here. We're not safe anywhere, but we're really not safe here.
Well, we might be safe at the Church of St. Andrew. The father there says that it's hallowed. I presume that
genuine hallowed ground here.
That's what he says. Yeah.
That's exceptional. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he said anyone in his doors in his temple is a-okay.
Well, that's a very good news if we need a refuge. Whew, thanks. All right. Man, you think people would be that's all anywhere anyone would be if they knew the leader of their country was him.
Well, I mean, you've seen the signs, right?
What signs?
Well, the Baron or whatever the fuck his name is, it's just all is well and all that. I don't think that...
You think the propaganda works, then?
Well, I think that either the propaganda works or that something's going on there that we're not seeing or that we haven't been around here to pick up on. But I think that there's something in those posters that big guy was putting up.
That's a good point. We should keep an eye on that.
I mean, do we tell the Baron that his fortified city just got invaded willy-nilly?
No.
I think he'll think we brought him with us.
Yep, it's politicians. You never... If you've got to be the one to bear bad news, then don't be the one to bear bad news. Let somebody else tell.
Listen, I don't usually call the cops, but this is a very unique circumstance. I've never been chased by an omnipotent vampire before, so I don't know what to do.
But me neither.
I think it's best to, and I know this is probably not going to be the most popular thing, but I really don't know enough about this Baron guy or really the place that we're staying. I mean, yeah, sure, there's festivals and we're not allowed to talk about the person who's ruling, over this land, but I mean, how serious are these punishments? I know Erwin said it's pretty serious depending on the crime, but I think we should feel out before we decide to go saying, hey, Strahd showed up in our room last night.
I think we will learn a great deal once we see whether Danica and Erwin reported.
That's a point.
The other option is, I think, and she leans a little bit conspiratorially, trying not to make sure. I mean, I'm sure there's no one really there. Is there people in the tavern other than us right now?
No, it's entirely you. The tavern is unlit, unoccupied. There's not another soul present.
I love that. All right, so Kiva will, for the sake of brevity, explain everything that the Martikovs told her last night when she inquired about the bird people. And then also explain that she won't be dropping the line of questioning, and she thinks that it's something to look into as far as having potential allies in Barovia that can sort of help protect them, at least from Strahd.
Ismark.
He glances toward you and nods. Yes?
Yeah, so I know you said that the Vistani weren't really trustworthy. Do you think there's a chance to find some who might be either maybe a little bit more amiable or who could be bought?
His brow furrows. I'm sorry, I'm afraid I don't follow. The Vistani, they serve the devil. You can't be thinking.
Alright, but they can come in and go as they please. So I'm thinking, we try to hitch a ride, even if we sneak on. I don't. You know more about them than I do. But if there's any kind of chance, maybe if we just go observe them or something like that. Maybe if we stealth around and see what they're all about. Maybe we could sneak into one of their wagons and just I don't know, get out.
Ismark looks positively stricken for a moment, and then he glances at Irina, who shrugs, and Ismark slowly sighs. I don't think it's advisable, but I suppose I, can't keep you from doing what you think is right. There was some information I uncovered yesterday while I was asking around town. Evidently, there is a formal Vistani camp southwest of here, in the woods. They don't come much into Vallaki. Apparently, they're not very friendly, but they do have a camp there.
That's a start. I mean,
Yeah, we could be out of here by the end of the week.
I thought, though, what do we have to offer? Like, if we are going the bribe route, then if they're truly servants of this guy, and if he's treats them the same way he treats us, then we're gonna need a lot of money to make that worthwhile.
Well, I got this. I got the jewelry that I got, and I've been known to be very persuasive when I need to be.
I'm sure you are, but like people smuggling, that takes a lot of money. Like the prices are exorbitant for that sort of thing, even when you're not in a nightmare hell country.
Well, then I don't know. Maybe Amity can tell them some stories or something. Lil can teach them how to knit or teach them how to be frosty. I don't know.
Or we can just ask them what they want of us.
Or you could sneak us onto the back of a cart.
That too.
But yeah, that's what I'm thinking. As a plan B or maybe a plan A. I don't know. That we should do some reconnaissance.
Close enough.
And then we go to the camp, see what they're all about. If they look kind of grimy, kind of sketch, then we either come back here or we try to sneak onto some kind of caravan they might have.
Here's a question. Ismark, Irina, who are these people? Like, you've mentioned them, but like, do they live here? Or are they itinerant? Like, what's their deal?
You mean the Vistani?
Yeah, we really just use the name that you've never said anything else about them.
All I know is that they travel from outside in and out through the mists, that they are, they travel about in their wagons. They are servants of the devil.
I get that part, Ismark, but like, what do they do here? Like,
there are 3 in Barovia. You might have encountered them. They are the owners of the Blood on the Vine Tavern. But it is rare for a Wistani to settle down, such as they did.
Still not answering my question, but all right. So
I know. I'm sorry. I confess that most folk tend to avoid them on the rare occasion that caravans come through. They sometimes trade, but never without a canny eye toward those that they are trading with. I cannot speak to the heart of every Wistani, but as far as I know, they are servants of the devil who come and go as they please, and that is all that I am aware of.
All right. Well, in that case, it pays to get some more information. I'm with Metreon. Let's pay him a visit.
He nods, frowning. Oh yes, Lillison?
Lillison is going to sort of look a little bit smug while everybody's talking about reconnaissance, but mostly be in a corner, like keeping an eye out for Erwin.
All right. As you do, Ismark nods thoughtfully. I suppose that if you think that it's truly best to seek out these Wistani, it might not be a terrible idea, but unfortunately I do not know the precise location. It seems there are a number of trails and tracks through the southwest woods. You might need to find a local guide to give you directions there.
That's more money bleeding. Ugh. Yeah.
But he kind of shrugs helplessly.
Yeah, we can probably find somebody.
All right. Lillison, at this point, you do hear footsteps coming downstairs as the door opens. First up, you hear a soft giggling from the balcony upset in the pitter-patter of small feet, and you see Bram and Bray, the Bardicub's 2 sons, peering over the balcony at you from above. And then you hear a door creaking and a voice saying, "Boys, I don't believe you've washed yet. Come along. Get yourselves ready." And then you hear the boys, complaining briefly and then scampering back into their rooms. And then you hear the creak of the wood steps as Erwin slowly begins to come downstairs. You can see that he looks tired, dark circles under his eyes, but he appears, as well-groomed as he can be, and softly, smoothing down his tunic and his wine-red cloak as he makes his way down to the tap room, and giving each of you a nod as he enters. Good morning. I hope that you all slept as well as you could, given last night's events.
Lillison's gonna look at Kiva and whisper, I have an idea. And then she's going to stand up, smile in a friendly way at Erwin, and say, as well as we could. Again, apologies for disturbing your rest last night. I was curious about something, though.
Yes, of course. What can I provide?
You mentioned something about wine troubles.
Yes, after a fashion. Truth be told, it's more of a personal matter. I don't wish to trouble you. I know that, I'm sure you have your own business.
I mean, after the, one could say that we brought the trouble upon your house last night, and if there's some way that we could help you in return, then I would like very much to hear it.
He gives you a slow, searching look, and then a genuinely warm smile forms across his face, causing his eyes to just crinkle up at the edges and a soft twinkle returning to his eye. He strokes his beard and hums to himself. Very well, I'm certainly not one to turn down an offer of generosity. He kind of leans forward, pitching his voice down a little bit so as not to carry, glancing over the rest of your compatriots as well, so that they can hear. My supply of wine, I fear, is quite low. Nearly gone in some brands. The next shipment that we had expected is unfortunately overdue. Of course, you're not required to, but if you are willing to assist, the vineyard and winery are a few miles west of here. If you would be able to visit the location and learn what might have caused the delay and see if you might be able to retrieve our missing shipment, I know that, well, my family and I would be deeply in your debt. Why, my wife had insisted, against my better nature, that I request payments for rent overdue, though given last night's events I was not inclined to request any previously owed amounts, but should you retrieve this shipment, I would be more than glad to guarantee you stay and meals at the Blue Water for as long as you might be declined to stay.
Kiva, hearing all this, gives a sort of subtle look at Lillison, and she just looks like in awe and so incredibly pleased at her.
Lillison is actually looking back towards Metreon with like an eyebrow half quirked, like, basically going like, wine?
Yeah, Metreon has like a little kid has kind of stuffed his wineskin back into his jacket, but is holding onto it, so it's kind of obvious. But his eyebrows have been telling the story of pure excitement.
Erwin nods. Well, regardless, if you do wish to take on such a task, we would be, again, deeply appreciative. Do let me know if you decide to do so, just so I can make arrangements for potential shipment. We've been holding out as long as we can, and we would be pleased to know that we don't have to ration away our begging customers. We've not told them at this point, but it would be a good relief to know that there is someone else able to assist.
Yeah, I've seen riots for less.
We wouldn't want you to be dry. It's I'm sure we can accommodate him. Yes.
That sounds fine to me.
I'm for it.
Amity, are you up for it?
Of course. Would this happen to come with a map?
I'm afraid not, but it's not difficult to find. Merely follow the Old Svalich Road west of Vallaki and follow the signs. It will take you right to it. It's the Wizard of Wine's winery. You can't miss it.
He's a wizard, is it?
It's merely a name for the winery. but the wine is quite magically good, I like to say.
Well,
Fair point. We are excited then to be able to assist you. I know that last night was quite troublesome, but we'll make sure that we repay our debts, so to speak.
Again, there is no debt that you need repay to us, but I would be deeply grateful. Now, if you'll excuse me, there are a few preparations I need to make for the day. He gives
Of
you
course.
a quiet bow and moves toward the counter.
As soon as he's out of sight, Metron takes a swig of the wine and stuffs it back into his jacket.
well. All right, Lillison. That worked.
Lilithan gives Erthrindir and Metreon a brief smile, but her expression grows troubled again as she looks towards Irina and Ismark. Would you two like to come with us, or I don't know if anywhere is safe, really.
Ismark and Irina exchange a look. Irina's shoulders slump a bit. She frowns, as if trying to get the words right, and Ismark coughs. I think that we have some thinking to do. There were some things that Father Donowich said that the burial that we might wish to consider. I know that you seem set on seeking out these Wistani or perhaps the Vinery, but the father did say that the Abbey of St. Markovia might be of some sanctuary. I know that you seem desperate, but given that we've learned that hallowed ground perhaps can exist somewhere, perhaps that would be a safer place if we could travel west. I don't know, I think it's worth considering, and right now I need to make sure that my family is safe.
Not to try to force your hand in any way, but there is something to be said about safety in numbers, and there's no reason why we couldn't go to the winery and then head to this abbey afterward.
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, good. Yeah, let's ask this idiot to do that.
You're the one who talked.
That's an 8.
Ismark winces a bit and then offers you a grin. I understand, and it really does mean a lot, your companionship thus far, but this is... He sighs and he glances at Irina. You've trusted me long enough, and thus far for all the good that it did us. Do you think it's your decision? And Irina glances over the lot of you, frowning, sighing, and gives a soft, tired smile, shaking her head. I appreciate it. I just... Given what we know now, I truly appreciate what you told us about the church. I might look into that, but I think right now I just need to think about a few things and try to look through them. But if you do find that, there is a way of safety at Kresk, please, I would be deeply grateful. But for now, I think I just need to think through some things myself, but I have appreciated your company.
Well, we appreciate it as well, and Izzy will miss your sword. But just if things get heated or if you're feeling unsafe, there's a church on the other side of town. It's Father Lucian is the head of it, but he's been real nice. Says that the church is hallowed, so devils like Strahd can't come in. So just remember, go there if things get too crazy.
Irina nods, and she offers you a genuine smile. Thank you, Metreon. I appreciate so much what all of you have done for us. It means so much. Just be safe on the roads, okay? It's dangerous out there.
Take care of yourself.
She smiles and nods, and just kind of sits back in her chair and exhales, looking thoughtful.
Kiva looks fucking crushed and then taps Metreon on the shoulder and asks for the wineskin.
Here you go, love.
Yeah,
Lilithan looks...
Oh, sorry. She just takes a sip that's way too long and like the most kicked puppy expression and then gives it back and sort of like goes back to not looking at anyone.
Lilithan looks at Kiva and then she says, we should probably ask how far away this winery is. For all we know, we might be back here tomorrow.
Yeah, imagine we'll be seeing y'all for not too long. Don't get the impression this country's big. And yeah, Earthrendir is going to unfurl the terrible map he's been putting together on the table. It's just like, all right, so and just kind of start like doing mental math out loud. Probably very inaccurate mental math, but he doesn't know that. All right, so if it's 8 hours walk from Barovia to Vallaki, and then the winery's over here, and incorporating slope, like a day or two, I think. If Kresk is another, yeah, we should be all right.
Well, then it's settled. Do we make it on foot? Do we want to try and get a cart?
Money.
How much was it when you purchased your fine cart? I'm sorry we don't have it anymore.
Yeah, I didn't pay for it.
That makes things a lot cheaper, generally speaking. And we should probably avoid doing that here, because if we're going to be here a while, we don't need the negative attention.
Yes, we haven't been here long enough to know who it is unwise to... Anyway, do you think we should set out today?
Probably.
Yeah.
Otherwise we're just burning time. If everyone's recovered from last night.
I just I want to take care of something. It won't be very long, and then we can go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, just gather our things, you know.
Yeah.
Get our rations together in case we need them.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I guess we I guess we just do kind of like our pre-trip preparations.
Yep. Yeah, pretty much.
All right. So, where exactly are you planning on heading? At this point, Ismark and Irina kind of, make their way upstairs to the room.
Well, they said we need a guide for the Visitani, so that seems like a later thing. Seems like if the Wizard of Wine, at least to Earthrendir's reasoning, would be we should probably hit the place that's clearly signposted first.
Yeah, for Metron, it's similar, but if the whole idea is to be able to get coin to barter or at least buy the Vistani's help, going to the winery might result in getting more.
That too, because Earthrendir is out of money, like entirely. It's a bad
like
time.
Wilson said, do what small jobs fit in, get cash, get out.
Yeah, otherwise, Metron's got all of this stuff in his bag anyway, so he's ready to go whenever everybody else is.
Yeah. Earthrendir kind of pats his bag for something, and then kind of looks at Kiva. Damn it. Odd question, but do you have a comb? I think I left mine in my cabin, and this is becoming, any gestures to his rat's nest of a hair, a problem.
She pulls the hair comb out of her hair and says, "This is all I've got, but you can probably use it to detangle things."
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I didn't want to make a fuss, but this has become unreasonable.
No, trust me, I get it.
Kiva very quickly scribbles something out. There's a lot of crossing out and rewriting, and then she folds up a piece of paper. She slips it underneath Ismark and Irina's door, and then she rushes downstairs and sort of calls back to Earthrendir. Just give it back to me later.
Earthrendir grins. All right. Well, I'm happy for her. People should have nice things. She deserves nice things. But yeah, Earthrendir will probably attempt to get the tangles out of his hair and then get ready to go.
All right. With that, the lot of you are able to make your preparations as best you can. Is there anything more you'd like to do before leaving the Blue Water Inn?
Not that I can think of.
Do we want to at least maybe check around and see if we could get a horse, or get a horse?
Yeah, I think it's probably the best thing that we should do at this point.
Yeah, no, it's prudent to see if we can hire a cart or something.
So yeah, we'll go ahead and head out and look for one of those.
Yep.
All right. With that, you exit the inn together and make your way out into the streets. With the brightening evergray sky overcast over Vallaki, the streets are slowly filling up with people making their way through the avenues and alleyways, slowly going about their day's business. As you do, slowly making your way out, you hear footsteps crunching through the gravel and cobblestone as you make your way toward the main road. And as you make your way to the main avenue, Lillison, you turn your head as you hear, "Excuse me if you have but a moment, please."
Lillison is going to stop and see who is speaking.
Turning to the side, you see a man of about middling height. Black but graying hair slicked back over his head. A neatly trimmed blackened gray pepper-style goatee that is thin to a narrow point. Dark black eyes without much mirth or warmth to them. A simple drab gray cloak pulled over his shoulders. "Forgive me for interrupting, but you are the newcomers to town, yes?"
Yes, that would be us.
Ah, excellent. Then I have a message to deliver for my mistress, if you have but a moment.
But of course. Whom do you serve?
I am but a humble servant of Lady Fiona Vocta, and it is her delight to invite you to a private dinner at her estate, Vocta House, this evening. And he gives a slight bow with pushing his cape to the side.
Lillison takes half a step back, just in surprise, and then glances around at everybody else and says, "Well, we had plans heading out for a journey, shortly. All apologies to your lady, but is this urgent business?"
He frowns. "It is desired, or my lady would prefer to meet with you if possible. Shall I tell her that she can expect you on another date tomorrow, perhaps?"
Metreon approaches, kind of raising his hand. Good sir, your mistress, is she a proper lady? Proper lady?
She is indeed. Lady Fiona Vocta of the ancient house of Vocta, a noble and old house. It is an honor to be invited to her estate. Although, as he says the word honor, you can see that he doesn't quite seem to express the pride that you might expect. Instead, his beady eyes just kind of squint a bit, and his mouth turns a bit as if in an unpleasant expression.
I see. Well, perhaps, and Metreon turns to the others, perhaps we can delay our trip a bit, get in some good graces while we're here.
I mean, I guess we're not I suppose the stuff can wait another day.
It's up to all of you, I think.
Kiva sort of pulls the group aside for a second, looking like she's had a sudden realization of something.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know what we've done to gather the attention of clearly a respected woman in this town. Maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but if we're looking for transport, I did remember doesn't our bard friend have a wagon of his own?
Yeah.
Yes, and something very fearsome inside.
Well, maybe if we talk to him about using the wagon, maybe we can get a horse from this nice lady over here. I'm just saying, I think there's a way that we can probably make both of this work.
That's the point. Odds are she's at minimum got like a riding horse or something, if she's any level or rich. Maybe a cart too, if we're really good at finagling.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that Rictavio would just put his his lion somewhere else. But
wait, there's a lion in there?
Shh.
Sorry. There's a lion in there.
Well, there's something.
I will also mention that Rictavio has a horse.
Point.
Yes, but perhaps this lady might be able to provide us with many horses if we align ourselves or entertain her in such a way. I imagine we caught her attention thanks to our quite colorful nature.
Probably. And Rictavio wouldn't give us the time of day. I doubt he's going to loan out his livelihood.
Amity turns back to this person. May I ask what's the purpose of the dinner invitation?
The man blinks and nods. She has an interest in your recent activities in Vallaki and has an interest in perhaps seeing if you might be amenable to putting those skills to certain use. Again, should I inform her that she can expect you tonight or perhaps tomorrow?
Lillistan's going to look around at everybody and then just whisper very quietly, she might want to hire us for something.
From the way he's being coy, Metreon, they might be recruiting us to a thieves guild.
No, that's just the way that nobles speak, really.
Trust me, the thieves guild would be much less subtle.
Lillistan is going to look around and just very quickly say, shall we go then?
I suppose. I hate waiting another day for the wine shipment, but this does seem like it might solve all our problems at once. Or not, a few of them.
Lillisan nods, then turns back towards this man, steps towards him, gives him a little, deep nod, almost like a half bow, and says, please inform your lady that it would be our honor to attend upon her at dinner tonight. What is her address?
He nods. It will be a pleasure to see you then. And you must merely seek the estate of House. It is to the northern end of town, to the right side of the main northern avenue as you are heading toward the northern Zarevich Gate. It is perhaps halfway to the walls. It is an enclosed and fenced estate. You cannot miss it.
Thank you for your information, and do impress upon your lady that as we are just travelers, we may not be have the proper attire. So if there's any way that she might be able to provide some, so that we may be more presentable for dinner, it would be most appreciated.
Or if she's not, then please to simply pardon our appearance.
He frowns and shrugs. I am sure that whatever you see fit to arrive in shall be proper. I shall inform her then of your intent to dine with her tonight, yes?
Yes, much obliged, and please send her our respects as well.
I certainly shall. He bows again. Then I shall inform my lady that she will see you this evening. Good day.
Take care.
And he turns and makes his way down the street away from you.
Lillisan looks at Metreon and just shakes her head with a bemused little smile.
Listen, I need a new tunic. This thing is all fucked up. Look at this. And he starts to point at bloodstains and tears in it.
Yeah, no, I'm with Metreon on this one.
No, I agree. It's just, it sounds so funny to be begging somebody for clothing.
I don't think I was begging. I was just, saying, hey, if you want us to be presentable, you gotta meet us halfway.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Well, anyway, do we? How do we want to spend the rest of the day then? Do we want to still try and get a horse and cart? We want to wait for that, see if this Fiona woman's going to help us out.
Unless we can make it to the Visitani encampment and back before dinner, which is probably not a safe bet, I'd say we spend today just getting ready.
Wait, DM. The timeline of this now, is the Festival of the Blazing Sun supposed to be today or tomorrow?
I believe that when you arrive to us in 3 days' time, it is tomorrow.
Okay, just checking.
Right.
Well, so, I don't know if you shared that with your group, Lillison, did you?
Lillison will probably glance over to a poster, start to say something, and then note the date and go, never mind.
Okay. I don't want to metagame, so I'm not going to do that. Never mind.
And if we leave early enough tomorrow morning, we could possibly even skip out on this festival.
Please. I don't want to see what this guy thinks a party is.
We just have to make sure we're not missed if we decide to come back. Isn't that a punishable offense?
I think if we come back bearing wine, a lot of sins will be forgiven. They generally are.
It's not like they go arrest everyone in the other village for not coming to this one's festivals, right? Like, not being here has to be
an excuse, yeah.
Perhaps we should leave later tonight, then, after the dinner, just to be
No.
Yes, of course.
I'm not traveling on the road at night.
Yeah, we'll just be out early tomorrow.
Yes, well pointed out. I keep forgetting
that outside the walls is a ravening... Yeah. Understandable. Well, suppose we gotta get all fancy. Been a long time. Need to remember how to do a lot of things. Is it... Lillison, can you remind me about what all the forks mean? Like the little one and the big one, and one's for dessert, and...
You just start from the outside and work your way in.
Oh, right. That's it. Gotcha. Yeah, man.
It's really just an excuse for them to put all of their forks on display, so they won't really be looking at which one you're using so much as looking to see if you're dazzled by the fact that you have 18.
Well, I will be sufficiently dazzled considering we've been wandering through mud and blood for a week or so. Well, shall we head back and get ready?
Sounds like a plan.
I think that there's still sufficient amounts of daylight that if we wanted to, we could see if we could gather any more information.
Yeah, I guess you got a good point. Do we want to maybe see if we can figure out more stuff about this Lady Fiona Wachter?
That's a good point. Let's see if we can get a hint of what we're gonna be going up against.
The merchants at the stockyard yesterday had a few things to say about her. Nothing particularly positive or negative, just that she was of an ancient family and had dwelt here a long time. I wonder if the other merchants might know more.
Worth a shot. Yeah, I'm down to help you gather some information. Let's just be discreet.
Discreet small middle name.
What is your last name?
The Magnificent?
Discreet the Magnificent.
Yeah, that's it.
Your parents were very creative.
Well, you know.
Or very cruel.
2 of one has half a dozen the other. Shall we make way?
Yeah. And yeah, I guess Berthendir with everybody else is going to kind of spend some time wandering through town, and kind of while looking over merchant stuff, ask some discreet but probing questions about Lady Water, and what she might be about.
All right. Just moving through town, kind of asking around as you can. Someone can make an investigation check to get some information. This will be an investigation charisma check. So use your proficiency with investigation and your charisma modifier.
Congratulations.
I got a big old 0 in investigation.
I have a
I
plus
got a big old
6.
0 charisma.
You go for it.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, expertise. Not that it did me much good. That's a 9.
Is that a 9 plus your charisma?
No, even with my charisma, that's a 9.
Oh, damn.
You spend the better part of an hour and a half. Well, in fairness, I'm assuming you weren't doing this alone, right?
No. He was sticking with the
All
group.
right. Assuming you're all working together, then I'll let you make this with advantage. I'm assuming you're being helpful.
Alrighty.
I'm taking pity on you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Thank
pity.
you, Dungeon Daddy.
But first, never say that. Second, I think it's reasonable to let you roll with advantage if the others are helping.
Yeah,
As
alrighty.
Ron and the rest would be.
Oh, come on!
Oh my god.
Alright, that's our second 9.
Great. All right. So you spend the better part of the next hour and a half kind of asking around, asking random vendors and merchants, some that you visited before. If you'd like, you can stop by the tannery and pick up that studded leather armor you ordered in the process of doing this.
I would like to, thank you.
All right. You can add that to your inventory. Otherwise, you turn up not over much. You know, she's an older woman, keeps mainly to her estate. You do learn that she does have 2 adult sons, Nikolai and Karl, who are evidently local troublemakers. But beyond that, you don't learn much more than you already knew.
Appears either no one wants to talk to us, or they just don't know much about her. Either way, guess we're going into this blind.
Well, I'm going into this looking pretty snazzy, and he starts to kind of massage the freshly made studded leather armor.
Yeah.
He's now wearing.
No, honestly, that's not bad. I just wish I had my clothes from home and like any sort of hair mousse and bit of eyeliner. I don't know, like anything that's making me look less like a wet dog.
I don't think makeup can help with that.
Metreon, do you have anything other than that pancake slather?
Oh yeah. I got some rouge here. I got some coal. I got a little bit of lip balm. You know, got to keep them moisturized for the kissing. But yeah, I got a lot of stuff in here.
I have always wondered, how do you use the eyeliner without poking your eye out?
I don't know. I just really kind of smudge it everywhere. You know, just rub it in. You know. I don't really use it that much though, because it's kind of like traumatic, and I'm trying to keep myself low key. I really just use it to put, you know, because my eyelashes is white, and sometimes it gets a bit jarring having black hair and white eyelashes.
Lillison looks at Aerthirnir's face speculatively.
Yes?
I'm just wondering what sort of artistry Metreon could pull off on you?
I mean, I don't. It's fine. It's not. She asked us to dinner. It's not an issue.
Kiva turns to Metreon and sort of gestures vaguely to her scars and is like, well, maybe you could cover these up for dinner. I know they sort of look attention-seeking.
Oh no, Pat. I mean, you know, the makeup I have just kind of evens you out. Doesn't really cover texture. So I mean,
yeah. Besides, they're beautiful.
Yeah, you know, it's gold. You know, what rich lady doesn't love gold?
Oh, okay. I'm not really familiar with makeup at all. So, are we trying to look nice? Because I'm not really used to that either.
Just to wear your best stuff, comb your hair, any jewelry you've got, and smile.
Right. So what if what I'm wearing right now is my best stuff?
Do you want to got prestidigitation? You know, maybe clean it up a bit.
Nope.
Kiva just is covered in blood all the time.
I think a bath would probably be a good start if we could see if Danica and Erwin would be amenable to heating us up some water.
Yeah, that'll do fine.
Okay, yeah. Kiva just looks so self-conscious all of a sudden.
Metron kind of elbows her in the side. Might be a good ass arena for a sponge bath, yeah.
I'm going. That's not even what. Can we just go find someone with a wagon or something, please?
Metron sticks out his forked tongue, kind of wiggles both ends separately from each other, and then keeps walking.
You're a sick fuck. You know that?
I do.
All right, so where are you all headed now that by now it's approaching late morning, maybe around 10, 11 o'clock in the day.
I mean, if we're not doing anything like reconnaissance or anything like that, and if we've already kind of asked people, I figure we just spend the day freshening up, having a little quiet time before being thrust into a social situation.
Earthrendeer, for one, does not look like he's going to volunteer to go out and do things in between.
All right. So, are you all heading back to the inn then?
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, I'm going to straggle behind a little bit. I'll get back there eventually, but I want to see because I know that Earthendeer and I think it was either Lillison or Kiva back in Barovia saw the Vistani spies. So I want to just, as we're kind of walking back, I just want to kind of weave through some of the alleys and see if I find any trace of them or any, other suspicious figures.
Sure. So, as you begin making your way back toward the inn, the others a bit of a ways ahead of you, glancing down the streets and alleyways. 1 second, please. Make a perception check for me.
Oh, lovely 6. I'm rolling beautifully tonight. Oh, wait, no, it was a 3. I'm sorry. 3.
Gotcha. All right, so you do not spot anything. However, Lillison and Kiva, as you're slowly making your way back toward the inn, you do notice that someone seems to have been following you as you've made your way through the alleys, through the streets. This person, you see a familiar silhouette, a pale-looking man, kind of ratty, dark hair falling over his face, unkempt, a pale gray cloak, unremarkable tunic and features that you've seen a number of times when you've stopped into establishments and stores. And as you make your way to the inn, you watch as he quietly ducks into the alleyway and continues watching you as you make your way back.
Kiva turns to Lillison and says, should I go introduce myself?
No, I tried to speak to the one that was following us yesterday, and she just vanished.
Kiva will give a little wave to the person watching them and go inside the tavern.
All right. As soon as you wave, the person ducks back into the alleyway out of sight, and as you make your way into the tavern, they vanish from view.
Yeah. Earthrendeer, as they go inside, Earthrendeer is going to kind of give Amity a glance and said, "Hey, oh shoot, I just remembered something.
What?
Talk to me upstairs for a minute. I got something to ask you."
Sure, Amity's gonna follow him upstairs.
Yeah. And yeah, once they're kind of out on the balcony looking over the town, he's going to turn to her and say, "Hey, listen, so, I had an idea about your foot."
Go on.
Okay, so I don't want to give you false hope. I still don't think it's healable, or not by me. But while I was kind of, over the past few days, I've been thinking and remembered some back home that there are ways to, I think they're called prostheses or something, where you can, essentially with bits of leather and wood and metal, you can put together a way to either, replace something that you've lost or make the thing you've got work more like it used to.
Well, I've heard of them. Do you actually think someone here could make one?
it might be a long shot, but you remember the kooky toy maker we met yesterday?
Seriously?
I mean, did you see his metalwork? It was exceptional. And, like, artistry, like, compare that to the clothes, and he, like, grabs at his shirt and kind of proffers the gray drab. Like, compare the work on those. There's care being put into that. Like, he may be weird, but I think he can do it if I give him the design.
If you actually have a design...
Oh, I do, actually. I remember back from Offstra, I saw them being used. Yeah, I can... I mean, it probably won't be perfect, and it'll need to be fit to you, but... And he kind of trails off, looking at her a bit bashfully.
Alright. I'm not gonna... No false hope, no false hope. I mean, I am getting used to this walking stick. But if that is possible, that would be awesome.
All right, and a grin blooms across Erthrindir's face. All right, just wanted to be sure. And I might need to ask you to... Here, tell you what, why don't you come with me? That way, if he needs your... Well, he will need your measurements. I'll make him take your measurements. Then we can, see if he'll work on it.
Let's hope. Emily will follow him to Blinsky Town.
Excellent. Off to Blinsky Town.
All right. Together you make your way out of the blue water and back into the streets of Vallaki. Slowly making your way down the road, and as you do, you pass through a number of individuals that are making their way, doing their business throughout town, but it's not long before you find your way to the familiar cramped shop and the rocking horse sign marking Blinsky Toys. There's a soft chime as you enter. And as you do, you hear the sound of a familiar monkey's chittering. You can see that Blinsky, the heavyset man wearing his jester's cap and colorful clothes, the bells leaning over his shoulders, is kind of leaning half over the counter at the back of the store, holding something in his hand. Now, come on, little friend. Put the toy up on the shelf, and you will get a treat, yes? Good treat. Good monkey. Piccolo, the little monkey, kind of like chirps at him, glancing down at the thing below it, and kind of picks up this little gruesome doll and kind of hefting it over one shoulder, scrambles up the side of the shelf and pops on the top, and then glances down, glaring at Blinsky expectantly. Oh, such a good boy, Piccolo! Such a wonderful boy! Here you go. Have a treat. Have all the treat. And he begins kind of like tossing up little morsels. It's hard to tell if it's jerky or hardtack or some kind of dried fruit, but the monkey like snaps it up and like eagerly gulps it down. Blinsky seemingly paying you no attention as you make your way into the front of this shop. He pauses and rolls. Oh, forgive me. Welcome, friends, to the house. Oh, repeat customers. Welcome back, my friend. Brought toys for a little child in need of joy. What can Blinsky do for you, my friend? My best customer.
Are we really your best?
Yeah.
He kind of pauses for a moment, looking a little stricken. Blinsky does not need to discuss financial matters. Please, what can I do for you? What brings you to my humble shop?
Erthrindir looks a bit like kind of a cross between pitying and confused, and he's going to fish a mini folded piece of parchment out of his pocket, and you can see that on which a fairly complex diagram is drawn with lots of crossings out and blottings, and then he shows it to him. Hey, so I've been thinking that, well, my friend here would like some help with her leg, and do you think you could build something like this?
He frowns, and then his eyes glancing toward Amity, then glancing at the parchment. And then slowly you watch as he begins to nod, scratching his short, scraggly beard, a light turning on in his eyes. Yes. Oh, yes. Oh, this is, an enchanting project. This could be, this is an assignment worthy of Fritz von Wierck himself. Glances toward Amity, and grabs her in a massive bear hug. You have brought me inspiration for what will be a marvelous masterpiece.
So you can do it.
Blinsky, root test, Captain von Wirks. Follow it. He doesn't even grab part. He takes the parchment that you gave him, flips it over, slams it in the desk, and like takes out a quill and like starts drawing flat, scribbling designs and schematic. Do not worry, Blinsky will deliver you a masterpiece.
How much?
Oh, he pauses, blinking. He turns toward your foot, frowning, scratching his shin. Do you mind if I take a look real quick? Just a moment.
Amity pulls up her clothes and sort of looks away.
He frowns, nodding, yes, and kind of like pokes his finger gently across a few different portions of the ankle and foot, making sure not to touch any overly injured parts. Perhaps... He blinks up at you, looking with big eyes, looking very hopeful. Perhaps 10 gold pieces?
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll need to
That's-
pay later.
That seems
Not to
cheap.
worry, Blinsky is used to that. That is not a problem. That would be wonderful. Oh, gold for Blinsky's work. For a masterpiece of work. Oh, Von Weir could be so proud.
Bertrand, dear, is it just me, or is that actually really cheap?
Oh, that is extraordinarily cheap. In most places, this would be like 500. I vote we don't tell him.
Maybe not yet.
Yeah, if we come into a marvelous fortune, then we can come by and shower him in gold later.
Good deserves good.
Good deserves good. But, alright, Earthrendeer's going to pull himself upright and smile at Blinksky. Thank you, my good sir. And when should we come by to pick it up?
Blinsky is furiously writing, and he doesn't even notice you until you take a step closer. Give me a few days, nothing more. I shall have to channel my inspiration into the piece. Do not fear, it shall be done within a week. Perhaps sooner, perhaps half a week. I must let my muse sing.
Yeah, well, I hope she sings loudly and pleasantly. Good luck.
He doesn't even notice you. He's just fixated on the schematics that he's drawing. He's now yanked out 5 more pieces of parchments and covered them in designs that are entirely indecipherable. His writing entirely illegible, but he seems to be having the time of his life.
Earthendeer is going to slowly back out of the shop.
Yeah, Amity will follow. I can't believe that's actually worked.
Honestly, me neither. He's obviously got the technical skill, but that he'd just take on a custom project, that's a... Yeah, me neither.
I mean, even if it doesn't work and he can't do it, it's okay. No false hope.
No false hope. We'll try things and we'll find something that works.
Yeah. With that, I don't think there's anything else Amity particularly wants to do before Fiona dinner, other than, bathing.
Likewise, he's...
All right. With that, you make your way back to the inn, and as the others are waiting at the inn, either in the tap room or elsewhere, you hear the door open to the tap room, and you see a pair of men walk in. From what you can see, both of them are tall and fairly broad-shouldered. One of them has a long beard that goes down to the top of his chest, dark brown hair, entirely bald head, save for a long stripe of brown hair that descends past his shoulders, joining a kind of a shaggy ring around the back half of his head. He wears a long brown fur cloak, rife with kind of gray-white fur around the top of it. His companion with long strands of messy brown hair around a sharp chin face, dark eyes, and slightly brown skin, wearing a similar kind of fur skin coat. This one of a kind of a caramel chestnut brown. Each of them, you can see, are carrying what seems to be the corpse of a wolf, strung up and hoisted over one shoulder. The bald man is carrying two, bound by thick ropes around his shoulders as they make their way across the room to where Danica is at the bar. The bald man grunts and lets the wolves fall on the counter with a slam, and he grunts, "Good hunting today. You still taking delivery?" Danica blinks and nods. "Master Soldarovich, welcome back from your hunting trip. Good to see that you have been successful. We would be glad to pay the usual commission. Thank you." He nods, and you watch as Danica goes beneath the counter and fishes out a few coins and drops them in Soldar's palm. He grunts, "Wine, please," and he leaves a few on the counter. Danica nods and moves to fetch him some, as he and his companion move toward the tables and kind of just get themselves seated by the side.
Is this just what Erthadir and Amity say? Or is this like
anyone who is
leaving out?
anyone who is in or around the tap room at this point sees this.
Lillison's gonna look over at Kiva and just with wide eyes just say, "Oh, we need to learn a few things from them."
Seriously, she sort of like looks them over. Maybe we should introduce ourselves.
For once, I think that they probably won't want to speak to me. So, if you don't mind, I'll just sort of tag along behind you.
That's fine. And Kiva will walk over to the pair of gentlemen after they sort of look settled at their table.
He grunts, kind of glancing up at you. "What?"
Well, I was wondering if I might have a seat.
He shrugs. "I will not stop you."
Kiva, by the way, and she's going to sit down, but also offer her hand to the gentleman.
He eyes it, but does not take it.
Are
Soldar.
you... Sildor, are you, hunters by trade, then?
Aye, and his friend nods. Aye.
Maybe it's just me, but I had a run-in with some of those wolves, and it certainly didn't end with me carrying their carcasses in exchange for gold. How on earth do you manage that?
They exchange a look, and Soldar shrugs, nodding to the arrows in the quiver and the strung-up bow on his back. Tough, but they died like anything else. His companion nods.
So you recommend I don't go at it with a scimitar, then?
Soldar frowns and shrugs again. Wolf wants to bite you close. Arrows bite from far away. He's better.
Interesting. So, I guess I just have, one question. I mean, when do you next go hunting?
We'll probably go out in a few days. Perhaps sooner. Depending.
Well, if it happens to be in a few days, would you mind swinging back around here? I'd love to at least go with you. I promise I can hold my own, just to see how it's done.
He frowns at you. We are not taking apprentices.
Not necessarily as an apprentice. just looking for technique. We're going to be doing a lot of traveling and want to make sure that we're able to handle ourselves.
He shrugs. At this point, Danica comes over, offering tankards of wine, which Soldar and his friend accept gratefully. Soldar takes a long swig and plants the tankard on the table. If you want advice, then pay for drinks. If you want guide, then pay for guide. But we do not take apprentice.
How much does a guide run?
He frowns. If you want to employ us while we're not hunting, that would be 5 gold per day.
Kiva looks at Lillison and raises an eyebrow.
Lillison surreptitiously glances into her coin purse, then looks back and just shrugs.
5 gold a day. I can do that. We have plans tonight for dinner, so maybe you could meet us back here first light tomorrow?
He nods. Aye. And his companion nods. Aye.
All right, it's a pleasure doing business with you boys.
He nods again and returns to his drinks.
Kiva stands up and then returns to the others and says,
I've gotten us a guide.
Oh, wonderful.
Only problem is, it's 5 gold per day, so if we maybe can take a loan from Danica and Erwin here, see about, since we're going out and investigating this winery for them, that we can maybe have them pay our guide fees?
Or perhaps, and Metron looks down at his hand, even though it's in a large kind of gauntlet glove, he knows that there's a ring under there, and looks up at you all. Maybe we just keep them on retainer for the winery, and then maybe they can guide us back to the camp, that Vistani camp they was talking about.
Well, not a bad idea. We gotta pay them up front.
They won't go unless we pay them, I'm sure of it.
I have 5 gold. I don't think it would be a very good idea to try borrowing from the Martikovs, but who knows what might happen tonight at the dinner.
Yeah, we might be able to secure some sort of patronage if we're clever.
And maybe if they got some nice silverware, you know.
One or the other, however, not both.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Lillison, if you can pay for it, then that'd be appreciated.
Well, we've at least got guides paid for tomorrow, so...
Yeah, that's a good shout, good shout, Kiva. That was very smart. Better to have someone who knows the land than us just blundering through.
And 2 people that can kill werewolves.
Werewolves, they said.
Sorry, I meant to say wolves and I was writing something else. Ignore me.
Oh no, that I got very hopeful for a second. Nah, it's fine. All right.
Kiva knows nothing about werewolves. What am I talking about?
So then, we got some guides. We got some dinner. So, what say you all? Maybe we mosey on out. Get us some grog.
Yeah, let's see what Miss Water has for us.
Has there been enough time at all to possibly take a bath in between?
Yes, you've been at the inn for a number of hours, and in fact, as you make your way up, you notice, as you make your way up to take, if you'd like to make a request, ask Danica to pull some water for you and heat some of it for you, you can.
Yeah. In that case, y'all would see that when Earthrendir sits down, his hair is remarkably straight, and some of the brownish tinge has been left it, or maybe been massaged out, you're not sure, and it's now a sort of a deeper red-brown color than you saw him with initially. He gives you all a smile. Yeah, I kind of glad we got asked, honestly. I feel like myself again.
Yeah, I was going to ask. I didn't smell mushrooms around, so I figured you must have taken a bath finally.
Shush. Yeah. Y'all look nice, though. Sharp.
So after bathing, Lillison would have actually extracted and put on her set of fine clothing, which, in contrast to her kind of more sensible traveling clothes, is actually just like a long, slim dress of like this deep forest green trimmed with like brass-colored braid.
Goodness gracious. Didn't know you were packing that out.
It didn't seem like the sort of thing to wear in a place like the woods.
Well, it's very much not. But yeah, no. Good shout. You look lovely.
Thank you.
You're the expert here, Lillison. Do you think that Truffle should come along? Would it be a faux pas, or would everyone think that he's cute?
Honestly, I don't know. If we knew more about the temperament of this lady, I could take a better guess, but I suppose the safer thing would be to leave him here?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Amity gives him a little piece of fruit and holds him up in the room.
Yeah,
Next
just, with Arena, she can cuddle with him. They can braid each other's hair or something, I don't know.
Next time we'll get him a little bow tie. Make him nice and fashionable.
One of those tutus.
Oh, alright. Yeah.
So he likes it, I love it.
Fair enough.
Now the question is, if you were to put pants on him, would they go on the...
Oh no!
Look what you've
enjoyed
done.
our podcast.
Oh, thank you for watching Twice Bitten, everyone.
If a truffle wore pants, would he wear them like this or like this?
This will be the last episode. We will not be returning.
All right. Is there anything else you'd like to do before you depart? You can see that the sky is beginning to darken and evening is beginning to approach.
Other than making herself look presentable and maybe undoing the armor a bit for some delicate décolletage, Kiva would be just ready to go she wants to have a nice, fine clothes sequence, but she doesn't have them, so she's going to do with the best with what she's got.
Metron will at some point offer to cover up the bite marks on her and Amity's neck.
Oh, yes, that's very important.
All right. So with that, your fine clothing or made as fine as it can be in place. Bite marks easy enough to cover up. Are you all heading out into the streets?
Yep.
Yes, we're on our way to a party.
All right. With that together, you make your way out of the Blue Water Inn just as the lights of day begin to fade, the gray of the sky beginning to give way to a darker purplish black, the light slowly fading in the distance. And with that, you make your way away from the Blue Water Inn and through the streets, making your way north through the central avenue toward the northern gate. As you do, you pass through a number of crowds, a few individuals giving you suspicious looks, but no more worse than what you've encountered thus far. Slowly you make your way through the streets and soon find yourself come upon the estate that the man had described. And as you look upon it, however, you're not sure what you expected, but the house that you see is old. It seems almost disgusted with itself. You see a slouching roof hanging heavy over furrowed gables and moss-covered walls sagging and bulging under the weight of the vegetation. As you study the house's sullen countenance, you hear the edifice actually groan. And only then do you realize the extent to which the house hates what it has become. There's a soft groan, and the unlocked iron gate swings gently ajar, giving way to a path that winds past a dark garden to a front door.
Well, this is inviting.
Ah, maybe the inside is nicer.
It'd better be.
Well, we know that this is, in fact, an ancient house, at least.
I was hoping they'd be rich enough to at least, do something, maybe some topiary or something like that,
Yeah,
Tidy up.
I'd kill for some rose bushes.
Let's go.
Yeah.
All right. With the sky darkening above you, the night slowly encroaching as dusk settles like a cape over Vallaki, you make your way past the dark gardens, across the southern side of the house as the path winds its way around that end, and slowly making your way up to the stone steps that lead up to the wooden door that stands at the front. And as you lift your hand to knock, that is where we'll end it for today.
Ooh, the drama.
It's gonna be fine.
Hey, at least for once, our cliffhanger involves us being bathed and nicely dressed rather than screaming in terror running through the woods.
Yeah, we're gonna get
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
It'll make next time all the more, poignant as we are chased out of the house screaming.
And what's the worst that happen?
All right. Well, thank you to everyone for joining us today. We will see you all back in the mists next Saturday. Until then, beware of things that go bump in the night, and take care.